Try again.
No, wait.
No, wait.
No.
All right. We are live with Up West Sports. We got a full house tonight. We got Chad, Jake, we got Schultz, we got Kyle Knowles in the house, and we might even get some more later on throughout the show. Obviously, not quite enjoying the game as much as we would have wanted to, but here we are. It's it's the first game of the series. So what did you expect? Wanted to introduce a beer from the Pacific Northwest, from the No Lie Brewery, Juicy Squatch. It's got a trident on it, so I figured it makes sense to be drinking a nice little IPA with a trident on it. Yeah, guys, wanted to get into your thoughts on the game. What do we see? What do we want to see? And then what do we expect from kind of the rest of the series going on the rest of the weekend?
Well, I feel like that was a loss that is kind of hard to feel too bad about, in the sense that all year the plan, or not, I don't want to say the plan, but the way that things have been going is the offense has been bailing out the pitching for the most part. And you were always going to have a game like where they just simply could not do that, and this was one of those games. Granted, they were very unlucky. Per Baseball Savant, their expecting batting average for this game was 300, by the way, and they had. You want to guess how many hard hit balls the Mariners hit tonight? Granted, 20. They had nine hits in total. They had 20 hard hit balls tonight. Okay,
that was a guess, by the way.
Yeah, and you were right. So there you go. And also, the defense for the Blue Jays was insane, and the defense alone kept at least 2 runs off the board, from what I can tell. So yeah, it was just kind of one of those games where just felt like they just weren't destined to win this game, unfortunately. And I felt that about one of the other games in Oakland. I don't know if it was game 2 where we had kind of the big comeback. And we ended up winning that game, so I got pleasantly surprised. And this was just one of those games where they just simply could not make the comeback, and especially towards the end of the game, and having bases loaded with no outs and not getting a single run across the board. Thankfully, we have not seen that a whole lot this year, which has been nice and a bit refreshing. But it's just one of those nights where they were kind of classic Mariners in that sense. They just couldn't get it. They had, Mastroboni really stroked the ball really hard to first base, and happened to get caught. So
it hard.
Yeah, he stroked it hard. Got to hand it to him.
Drinking the Kool-Aid.
All right.
Yeah. So it was just one of those games where they were hitting it right at a bunch of defenders that were making incredible plays. Addison Barger is an absolute demon against the Mariners, apparently. So he's kind of, every team has that one Mariners killer, and I guess on the Blue Jays it's going to be Addison Barger for this year. So that's annoying. But like I said, overall, not really a loss I can get too upset about. I guess my frustration is more with the fact that I feel like it's going to be tough for us to win this series now, with Evans on the bump tomorrow and Miller on Sunday, because you just don't know what you're going to get from both of them. And with the Yankees coming to town, I'm very just worried that we're now going to have, if we don't take 2 of 3 from them, then we're going to have a losing homestand, which is just not what I want. I'm fine with them breaking even and staying kind of where they're at, wins total wise, but it is what it is if it happens. So that's pretty much where I'm at.
Yeah. Schultz, Chad, what are your thoughts from this game and where we're at with everything right now?
I'd have to say that this wasn't, I mean, it's a loss, but it wasn't a disappointing one. I've seen a lot of people saying that it just felt like one that you weren't going to win from the start just because of the way Castillo gave it up early. I don't know. I kind of wonder, I guess, if you ask me what my biggest concern from the game is, I wonder if Luis is okay. I know we've been wondering about Bryce, not necessarily there physically, if it's injury or if his mechanics are just off. I mean, he's still fighting through, but I just feel like Luis doesn't seem as locked in as normal, but also we've also seen this pitching staff been shouldering this team for the last 2-3 seasons. So maybe it's not so surprising that there's a little bit more cracks in the shield, so to speak. And these guys just aren't having as smooth as starts, and they're having to fight through it. But then to his credit, he still got the Mariners through 5 innings, and that's really what all you need your starter to do. They still had a chance to compete late in the game, and it just didn't go their way. Didn't see that stat about the hard hit balls and their expected batting average being 300 tonight. It makes their runners in scoring position 3 for 11 look a little less, crappy, I guess, when you look at it. 9 runners left on base. Well, they hit the ball really hard. Like that Master Boney, he stroked it really hard right at the first baseman. It's kind of what's been happening to Luke Raley all year before he went down. That's kind of what happened tonight to a lot of the Mariners hitters. Love seeing Williamson getting RB, or excuse me, not an RBI. That was Leody Taveras. Love seeing that. Love Ben Williamson getting on base again and almost hitting that home run. Just sucked that got robbed. That was just a jerker, and it really kind of represented the night. Like, it just didn't seem like the Mariners were going to win this one, despite them actually getting the bat on the ball a lot. One thing that I guess I really, really wasn't happy with was Donovan Solano pinch hitting in, what was it, like the 6th or 7th for Rowdy Tellez. I know that the Blue Jays brought a lefty in, but stop. He's hitting a $145. You're literally better off doing anything else. I would almost rather see a relief pitcher who hasn't hit since college at this point. He might have the same chance as Donovan Solano. I know I'm overselling it, but like the point is that this is supposed to be a winning team. And I would say that teams like for real, that like for real win, don't give at bats to Donovan Solano this late into a season. Even it's still early, but Tommy La Stella was given less of a road. I don't understand. I know he was only DH, but maybe I don't know like the happenings in the background, or if there was something in the locker room where, like, because they had Ty France at first base at the time, he didn't have to play first, so they really didn't have any of their options. So it's just like, well, no ways to let him go. I just don't know what they're doing giving at bats to guys like that. But I mean, overall, it's not a bad loss. I think I'm just finding stuff to bitch about, and I probably shouldn't, but I've had too many beers, so I apologize.
No, you're on the right track, and I did want to get to a couple comments. Rooftop Sports, thank you for following and subbing, and honestly, I put it in the comment. But yeah, we're having a giveaway from Schultze. Schultze's almost to 100 subscribers. So if we can get him to 100, I know he's got a really cool giveaway. If you want to show it to the nice people watching, it's a nice little Andres Munoz signed card, rookie card, freshly shaven, by the way. So you can't even recognize him. But yeah,
sorry, the light's not that great. Trying to get it.
Wanted to give him a shout out really quick. Chad, I know I cut you off there. My apologies. What were your thoughts on today's game and everything that was going on?
My ADHD is kicking in, so I'm all over the place, but it's I mean, I'll just throw this out there. I'm watching MLB TV. So Ohtani just hit a 3-run home run in the top of the 9th to put the Dodgers up 14-11 over the Diamondbacks. Why does that matter? Because that's what we needed. That's who we should have brought in. Someone like that who can produce under pressure at the end of the game when it's most needed, especially when bases are loaded and you have 0 outs. So it's a little negative side there. You want something positive? Everybody in the AL West lost today. So no movement besides, except for the Astros. They won, but they're 19-18, so it's not too big of a deal. And luckily our record's pretty solid. But I don't know. I don't entirely agree with the idea that this was just not our game. I feel like there's plenty of opportunity. We could have stopped the bleeding, like with Castillo, which I know it's not common. It's not a common thing recently, especially with our 9 series wins consecutively. But there's always this overhang, this hanging like feeling that I have that Dan Wilson does not like to pull the trigger on the guys with the big names. He doesn't like to take them out. He likes to leave them in there and doesn't want to pull.
Chad, where'd you go, Chad?
And that's the final word.
I was about to say, I wasn't sure if that was me. Wasn't sure if that was me or Chad.
R.I.P. Chad. No.
Did I lose you guys still?
Yeah, you did. But you're back.
He's back.
And now he's gone.
In spirit.
In spirit. Knowlesy, what are your thoughts from tonight and just everything that's going on?
The first thing I look at is, the back of your lineup can't go, what? I think they went 2 for 12 with 7 Ks. You can't do that. You can't do that. I mean, you think about Dylan Moore, bases loaded, strikes out. I mean, we can go. Obviously that could have been changed. Ben Williamson had that. With the hits. I mean, there's very few changes, but 7 Ks in 12 at bats. You can't do that. And on top of that, we finished the game with 11 Ks to 2 walks. This is the team that leads I think it leads the AL in walks. So I'm hoping this is more of the outlier than the median. Like, are we playing above our potential? And eventually in baseball, you always get back to your median. So I'm hoping that this is just an outlier game where you would hope that, hey, the offense is struggling, the pitching's going to pick it up. It's kind of been the last few years, as Schulte mentioned, our bats have failed our pitching. Our pitching goes, we got it, hold my beer, we'll get this thing covered. Today was the game you would have hoped that, hey, your pitching kind of failed you. Castillo just didn't have his stuff today. Okay, bats, figure it out, take it over, and just didn't hit the mark, especially with, the fact that you're striking out 11 times over 2 walks. I mean, you had 9 hits, which is great, but you didn't walk. I mean, you're kind of an all or nothing type of game. And if you're trying to be a team that, my biggest thing was you needed to be contagious with stringing along hits. Walks are advantageous to that happening because you might have a hit, walk, double. Okay, that might scores 1, gets a guy on third base, sack fly. There's 2 runs. And I think today was the game that just didn't happen. Kevin Gossman is one of those, I think, also a Mariner killer. I think over the last few years, he's beat us down. I think about the playoff game where he mowed us down. They pulled him, and then that's when we started putting the runs on.
Was it 9-1? Nice little 9-1 comeback, or 8-1?
Exactly. I mean, but Gossman, that sinker, what the hell he's got, that thing destroys us. The guys just don't see it, and that's what an ace does. So it's just one of those games that you just kind of go, what are you going to do? What are you going to do about it? We talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago, like my biggest thing with the Mariners, and this isn't really the example of it's too small of a sample size, but when they slide, who stops the bleeding? Is that a Cal that just goes off for a game, carries the Mariners, and kind of gets his back, kind of rights the ship? We're nowhere near that. To me, this is just a kind of a blip on the radar, but it's if you look at the last series with the A's, it was kind of coming. This kind of game where just a flat game was going to happen. So tomorrow, I just kind of hope they kind of have all right, we got our teeth knocked in. We look terrible doing whatever you want to call it. Let's come back and start playing Mariners baseball, beat the living crap out of these guys. Let's drop 10, 12 runs on them. Let's get back to what we have been seeing so far this season.
Well, and I'll take it a step further too. Jake and I were talking as the game was going on. Ben Williamson hitting that ball to center field. Unfortunately, Varsho, robs the home run. That plus you find a way to get one of those runs with no outs and bases loaded. Rooftop Sports, I saw your comment about there. So you find one run out of that, and it's 5-5 going into the 9th inning. You find a way to hold that. Like, they're not very far away. So there's a lot of positivity to take away from this, even though it's an L. It sucks. It is what it is. But man, they were so close to just kind of like being in it and just having that next step. And we've kind of been, baseball gods have been on our side, right? Like a couple days ago, Cal Raleigh hitting the 2 RBI single double that he had.
It can't happen every night, man.
It can't happen every night. I guess that's what I'm getting to is there's 160. There's right 162-0 is 100% feasible, and we should be that should be the goal. And no, I agree. I think it sucks that it didn't happen. It's not supposed to happen every night, but it's one of those things where, all right, how do you bounce back from this? What does tomorrow look like? How do you actually make that jump tomorrow with Logan Evans taking them out? What does that look like tomorrow? Now, does Logan Evans carry some weight? Does he have to step up tomorrow and say, all right, like, I know this is just my 3rd start of the season, or is it 4th start or 3rd start? I think it's his third start of the season. I got a lot riding on this game, but here's the thing: is there's not. You give us 5 innings, 1 run. which I think is 100% doable in his situation. And somebody mentioned in the chat, I believe it was, I think it was Rooftop Sports talking about the, the rest of the matchups for the weekend. Yeah, I like it too. If that's what Logan Evans gets you, 5 innings, 1 run, and just a handful of hits, or if he can mitigate the walks that he's been uncharacteristically throwing, if he can do that, you got a really good chance because the bullpen is starting to climb out. We're starting to see excellent performances, and the one person that I know everyone's been talking about, Trent Thornton, is no longer with us for at least 15 days. And prayers to him. Hopefully he comes back and he's in good health and everything. But right now the bullpen there's a lot to like out of the bullpen. And you're not too far away from getting George Kirby back. I think Hollander came out earlier today, said there's 2 or 3 starts potentially left before Kirby makes that move. So yeah, I guess getting into the rest of the series, what are your guys' thoughts on Logan Evans, rest of the series, and what does it look like for you guys?
Well, as far as like Logan Evans goes, I think the biggest thing for him is just it's going to be helpful that he's pitching in T-Mobile Park again. Obviously, it's going to be a little bit more friendly to him than Globe Life, but really, it's just if he learning to stop the bleeding is really his biggest thing right now. I think that was one of his biggest struggles in the minors too, and like during spring training when he had some opportunities, and just when he starts giving up runs, he just keeps giving up runs, and we saw that against the Rangers. So if he can just kind of not try to be too perfect and just try to get the outs the way, like, he's not going to strike a bunch of guys out because he doesn't have like insane velo or anything like that. And so I just think he needs to hopefully use this as kind of just a start to kind of get his confidence back a little bit. And it's going to be tough against the Blue Jays because, I mean, they're not like a bad hitting team per se. The biggest thing for them is they're just not hitting home runs. Like they're flying in the batting average department. It's just they aren't hitting too much for power. So if he can, maybe that'll work well for him tomorrow. Who knows? So that's what I'm hoping from Logan Evans. With Miller, I don't even know, because I feel like I don't even know what his problem is. So it's really hard for me to like kind of dissect what's going on with him. And I guess just try to like find his control. Like even if he gets hit around a little bit, man, if he can at least like pump the strike zone a bit, that would be helpful. And try to get a little bit of that control back, because that's been his biggest thing. And especially trying to get some control back from not only one pitch, because it feels like every start he'll have like one pitch that's like kind of fine, and then everything else he just cannot locate at all. Like last start against Athletics, that splitter and that slider were all missing up like the whole game. He could only really place the fastball, and it's just when a team or an opposing team only has to respect one pitch, that's it. Like, you're going to get teed off on, and that's what we saw. So hopefully he can just have a bit more of a balanced game. But the problem is I feel like I've been saying that all year. And it just hasn't happened. So who knows when he'll have that start. We're like, okay, that's the Bryce that we, have seen before. And if we don't get it this time, I mean, seriously, like we have to be in IL territory or something when Kirby's back. Cause I don't understand how you could keep him going with how he's doing. I mean, maybe the Mariners are taking that approach where it's like, well, like it's the big leagues, like at least you're still getting your big league reps in or whatever, but that would be stupid. So we'll see what happens with him. A little bit to Kyle's point about like the strikeouts tonight, because they struck out 11 times, which obviously it's tough to win games when you're striking out that much. Surprisingly, today was only the 11th game where they've struck out double digits or in double digit amounts. So that's cool, especially compared to last year. That was a lot different. So yeah, it was just one of those games, I guess. It's Gosman. He's a good pitcher. I was really hoping Raleigh would do a little bit more damage off of him, especially with my tweet, I think, earlier today about like how good Raleigh's been against him. but it is what it is. So yeah, overall, just hoping that we can at least. I mean, we could get the next two pitchers or the next two games because it's been mentioned a bunch. Like Bowden Francis is not how he was last year necessarily, and Arena, I don't really know anything about him, but he has an 80 ERA, so I'm like, okay, cool. Like maybe we'll be able to get it done. It's probably still going to be another thing though, where the offense is going to have to pick up the pitching because I don't really have a whole lot of faith in Evans or Miller. So if the offense can be productive, get the hits, get the runs, then we probably will be fine. But yeah, I'm a Mariners fan, so at the end of the day, like I'm going to overreact to even one loss and just assume like the series is totally over now.
Ain't that all of
I
us?
think, and I think you have to look at Evans. If you look at his last start, that was one of those starts where, Polanco comes and grabs. He says, "Hey, dude, take risks, throw your pitches. We got you covered." And I think you saw kind of the fruits of the labor of, he made some mistakes, but really he pitched really well. And just from a pitching background, there is nothing worse when you're sitting there on the mound and you go, I have to literally strike everybody out to win a game because I can't trust my defense and I can't trust my offense. I literally have to do everything in this pitching. Hell, I have to throw a pitch that somehow scores 3 runs for my team. I got to figure out how that happens. And so I think for how about Logan, just when he gives up runs, it just seems to just nonstop. I think he's one of those guys that, whether it's been through up the minors or just through whatever, he's probably been in those situations where he feels like he has to not only stop bleeding, he has to somehow generate runs from the mound, which we know it isn't feasible, but ultimately then you start making mistakes or you start pitching, you start walking people. Oh shoot, now it's 3-0, 2-0. I gotta start, putting stuff right down the chute. The guy knows it, thinks, hits a piss missile. So I think I think for a guy like Logan, it's like, hey, your offense, look at what they've done majority of this season is they hit the cover off the ball and they put runs on the board. So pitch your game, stop worrying about what you can't control. You can't control the runs of the game, but what you can control is throwing a good inning. You can throw a good at bat, you can throw a good pitch. And I think for Bryce, I'm not sure where he's at. I mean, I think maybe he's trying to be too fine. And it's like, hey, you talk about like the Mariners kind of their philosophy as pitchers. Throw it down the middle, let the ball move. Get back to that. And I think it's some of these guys that maybe, they start getting in their heads because the moment as a pitcher you get in your head, you're screwed. You should just walk off the mound because once you start it, it's just an absolute train wreck, rabbit hole, whatever you want to call it. So I'm hoping the next 2 days it's like, hey, Logan, take the ball, throw it to Cal, have a great time. You're getting to play professional baseball, which 1% of the planet gets to do, and not even that, less than 1% of the planet gets to do. Have fun. We talk about a game that you fail 70% of the time, and you're an all-star. So have a good time. And I think hopefully that's a mindset that somehow, obviously I can't say it in that regard, but some professional lingo that they tell them, just do what you're going to do, take risks, let the offense do what they have been doing, and let's see what happens. Bryce, whatever you got going on, like just flush it. My pitching coaches tell me, go to the bathroom, pick a number 2, call it that pitching performance, and let's get better. I think it's just one of those things, just short-term memory, move on. So from the pitching aspect, just think about the moment and not try to think about what you have to do for the next 4 or 5 innings. And I think hopefully that translates to better results by just focusing on the now in that particular moment.
Yeah, wanted to get to a comment, and then Chad, I know you got cut off last time, so I'm gonna toss it over to you. Kick Dirt Baseball said would like to see Logan use his curve more. Should have confidence in him too. He's good. Sweeper has performed well and has a deep arsenal, which I completely agree with. Kick Dirt Baseball is also one that's in our group. Hopefully, one of these days we'll actually get him on. We'll actually get him on here talking sports, but or talking baseball. He's actually really good at breaking down catchers and pitchers. So yeah, definitely heed his words. Yeah, Logan's got some great stuff. It really comes down to it's his 3rd start of his rookie year. Hopefully he can get over that hump and whatever else he needs to get over mentally, maybe even physically. And then, Chad, sorry, you got cut off last time. Want to give you the floor and give you your thoughts heading into the rest of the series.
I mean, that's the thing. I have no idea when I got cut off, but I know everybody was freaking out. I could still hear you guys, but I guess I just disappeared or froze. Probably an unflattering pause, whatever it was. So, I think the last thing I would say, I do have some other things that also, when it comes to pitching, so I don't want to go too far back, but I have a beef with the way, and this is also a Scott Service thing. I don't know if it's like an organizational thing, but we do leave our guys in really long, and I understand as fans also, we want to believe in our ace, if we want to call Luis Castillo our ace anymore. It's really, I mean, up in the air with all the injuries, with the way Bryce Miller's pitching. When is Kirby coming back? Logan's hurt now, so it's like, okay, so he's got to be our ace at this point. You want to give him the opportunity, and we haven't really had much faith in our bullpen lately. So there's all the excuses of why not to take him out. But when you have your ace up there and he's already surpassed his ERA for the year in giving up runs, and point blank, when you throw in, a relief pitcher that I wouldn't say has been used too much, but I mean, Legamina did great. I would have threw him in there a little bit sooner, and it could have been just one inning sooner. I know everybody's response is like, well, it didn't matter because we didn't score any runs. But I'm a fond believer of, if you change the dynamics of the game by not letting them get so far ahead of you to where you don't have to climb such a steep ladder to match that game, the morale changes, the excitement changes. People maybe come through clutch where they have a little bit less nerves so that they're able to produce and they're not all up in their own head. Snyder did great. Taylor is worrying me. He was great last year. I think right now he looked rushed on the mound tonight. Like he was like, all right, I got to figure this out. I got to hurry up and figure this out and make it work. But every time he threw his slider, or I guess it's a sweeper, is that what it is? He was throwing it right down the middle to where it slid way off the plate. And he knows he has good stuff. That thing has a ton of break in it. He wasn't adjusting. He was just trying it over and over again and rushing himself. So I don't know, something there with Troy Taylor. I know he's going to be really good, but I think it's just when you put him in these high pressure situations, and he's just as new, I would say, as Logan Evans at this point. Moving forward, I mean, tomorrow's Logan Evans' day. I'm a little worried, but I'm not worried for the reasons that his ERA is high, or he had a bad outing this last go around, even though his first start was fine and everything. It's more the fact that he's really good at preventing batters from barreling up the ball or getting hard hits. He's very good at getting weak contact, but he's very bad at missing bats. So if they hit it, it's weak contact. And then being in T-Mobile, don't mean dead name or stadium.
It'll always be Safeco.
Yeah.
All good,
So
bro.
that's what it was for me. That's a big ass stadium. That is a pitcher friendly stadium, but that also means that you have a lot of area to cover. And I understand we have Tavares out there, and I know he's good defensively. I know we have J-Rod and Masherboni, or whoever the hell is going to be in left field. I'm assuming Randy, who's slowed down a little bit. But if weak contact is what we're going to get out of the Blue Jays, which is probably probable, you're seeing a lot of bloopers that are landing in there that are just worthless shots. And then you start watching a game where we're now losing because they're just barely nicking the ball because they can hit it, but they can't make hard contact with it because he has that arsenal of 6 pitches. And no, he's not overpowering, but he has over 12 inches of break in every single pitch except for his cutter. Like, he can do well, but they still hit it. And the problem with T-Mobile is that there's a lot of area to hit where it can land. But I don't think he's going to lose control tomorrow and give a bunch of home runs. So I'm kind of on the fence. I'm worried, but mainly for small ball stuff, not exactly him getting hit hard or, anything crazy like that. So tomorrow I'm really not too worried about it. And like you said, who the hell's pitching for the Blue Jays? Is like an 8 ERA.
Bowden Francis. And
I
think he's got a,
well, he's
got a
Francis has had like 3 crappy starts in a row at least.
In a row. But this again is a pitcher's ballpark. So maybe he does well, just like Jimmy Garcia seemed to figure it out right when he needed to. I still can't stand that guy. We trade for him going to IL, and then he just signs right back with the Blue Jays, and we lose all of our. Anyways, So I was bitter about that, seeing him on the mound. But yeah, we just need to come through and have. Hopefully, our guys are not cooling off. Like Demo today was nothing like he's been all season. Even I don't know.
This is where you
He
need
was
Ty to
on the
come in
road.
with these. Well, yeah, on the road. Ty's stats was he's an all-star on the road, and he's a 4-star, 4A
Yeah.
guy at home.
Yeah,
I don't
and
think,
that's
I
Today
don't
was
think it had
rough.
anything to do with being at home tonight, though, did it? Right? Like,
I don't think so.
I mean, it's
Was
weird
it the
because
batter
as soon as he gets
side?
home,
Like,
sucks.
wanted to get a couple more comments here. Autumn, thank you for chipping in. Yeah, we definitely just discussed about Castillo's underperformance tonight, and just it's funny because you got through the first inning and you're like, all right, well, it's going to be a bullpen game, and then gets to the next couple innings, like, okay, maybe we can salvage this game, make it he only let up 2 runs for that first couple. And then we get to the fourth inning, and obviously it gets to 5. And then Chad, great call with the bullpen tonight. There was only 1 run through that last 4 innings. Casey Legamina looked amazing. And I'll just go ahead and go back to this. I worked at Push Performance, which is kind of like a drive line down here in Arizona, which Driveline has an Arizona location as well. So Casey Legamina actually worked out there. I got to see him a couple years ago when he was with the Reds. When he first made his debut and everything, the guy at the time was electric, and I was like, hey, whoever gets this guy is going to be awesome. And then sure enough, the Mariners ended up getting him this past offseason. I was stoked, and going into spring training, I was psyched to see him just throw, but also it's spring training. What do you expect? And he was lights out. And then because of options and other different things, he gets pushed to AAA, and now he's here and he's surfaced, and he's going to be that guy that you go to from here on out. He's going to be last year's Colin Snyder. He's going to be 2 or 3 years ago's Gabe Spire. He's going to be that guy that pops out. So I'm very excited about Casey Legamina moving forward. There's positive to take from this. There's just so much negative.
Slider, by the way,
always,
I
right?
thought of what you were saying on the pod when I saw that slider. I was just like, yeah, Gavin's seen that up close. He knows, and I don't think MLB knows quite yet. It's kind of fun. We've got inside information on somebody that just a lot of guys haven't seen. That is really cool.
Pacific Northwest pitcher right there.
That's
the key.
boy.
That's
Bulldog.
something.
It's
Sorry,
a GU
go
guy.
ahead.
I'm just saying it's a GU. It's a Gonzaga guy right there. And that's a big thing about Pacific Northwest pitchers. Those guys, if you can find a guy from the Pacific Northwest that throws, he can throw 90 plus with movement in 32-degree weather, because the majority of their games are playing in damn near, it's part of the weather.
Kyle, I gotta ask,
weather.
because most people don't know this. Why should we trust GU? What do you have involvement with Gonzaga?
My brother plays there.
There you go. All right, we got some involvement. There's
All
a
right.
reason why he knows that Gonzaga baseball is actually decent. His
But
brother plays
beyond
there.
that, I'm just talking about Pacific Northwest. Ian Hamilton with the Yankees, right? Guy throws gas. But you think about, there's Pacific Northwest pitchers that get drafted year over year, and you go, the guy wasn't all that great. Why did he get drafted? It's because the guy's on the majority of his starts is pitching in sub 40-degree weather. He's spotting 95. If you can spot 95 in 40-degree weather, you can sure as hell do that in 95-degree weather. And actually, it might be 98. And so for a guy like with Kate, to me, guys got movement. It was shown when he was playing, in Spokane. It's going to show there. Those are guys you need to pitch, because if you think about it, half their games are played in the Pacific Northwest. Find those guys. If they're good, bring them here. The different
You should
game.
have got Corbin Carroll.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, that was a missed opportunity because he went in the first
Yes.
to the Diamondbacks.
Yeah.
I want to pivot to the lineup tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and show this graphic from this was kind of a hot topic on Twitter. I saw kind of just popping up everywhere. I'm just going to go ahead and share the lineup from tonight.
Oh, God.
This lineup. What do we think about this, guys? Like this lineup, it looks like this is kind of the lineup until it's not, right? Like, this looks like the lineup moving forward. Am I right? What are you guys' thoughts on this lineup, on the way that it's structured? Is there anybody out of place? Is there anybody that you'd like to see in a different spot?
You have
all right,
you have one guy batting under 230 in that lineup, and that was Tellez. That's all I'm going to say. One guy under 230.
there's not a lot of holes there, at least. I mean, at this moment, like these aren't big names, like, and even if it wasn't Dylan Moore at second, if you threw him out in one of the outfield spots because Polanco needs a day off and Arenas at DH, like you can throw Rivas in, who's been hitting 350 plus, like, but there's also much better options. I feel like, I don't know, off the bench that you could go with. Obviously, I'll stick with the Solano thing, like having him as a inning replacement, or more likely than not, seeing him in the starting lineup at least once this weekend. Like this isn't bad, but it just doesn't look like a lineup that's sustainable. Like Ben Williamson batting ninth, that ain't bad. He looks like Kyle Seager 2.0, but I don't know, man. Like it just doesn't seem like something that is 5 through 9 or 6 through 9 maybe going to be looking so good in July. But you get Victor Robles back in July, so you never know. And by the way, I'm up to 86 subs, so you guys, this is freaking awesome. Seriously, it's like making my heart flutter with each one.
Just a reminder for anybody joining,
like, so crazy.
Anybody joining in, if you sub to Schultze, make sure to comment on the videos so he knows that you're subbing to him and everything. But he's got a really cool giveaway for Andres Munoz card right there. As soon as he gets to 100, we're giving that bad boy away. And it's absolutely free to subscribe. So head on over there and get that taken care of. There was another question in here about who are your top three players from tonight? Autumn, thank you for the question. And wanted to pivot to your guys. Mine. I'm going to go with Casey Legumina. It was awesome to see him pitch, and that slider is going to be on YouTube all night. Check out Rod Friedman. I'm pretty sure he's already put it on there. But if you also haven't checked out Kick Dirt Baseball, he does a really good job of getting those videos out as well. I made sure to retweet it because that video, as soon as he threw it, I was like, okay, whenever that comes out, I want that. That's such a nasty pitch, especially to Vladimir Guerrero, one of the best hitters in all of baseball. So Legumina is one of mine. What are your guys's, if you had to throw one out, or if you have two, what are your guys' favorite players from tonight?
Master Boney for nearly killing two players at one time. That line drive, I swear, I don't know how Vladdy blocked that ball. That was going to take his head off, and then Rivas playing the Matrix over there. I mean, I don't. There's not like a much like. Yeah, we can talk about like maybe some offense here and there. Obviously, it didn't really amount to much. So, I don't know. That was just an insane play, and it was such a hard hit ball, and it's just once again him getting robbed. But it just shows that he's barreling everything up and coming in a pitch hitting situation after Solano pitched hit for Tellez, and it's just kind of one of those like, all right, how many pitch hitters are we gonna do for the same position? But I mean, good for him coming out there doing more than anybody else did. No pun intended, Dylan. But the fact that Moore, left 5 runners on base and struck out 3 times tonight, it's just kind of like, all right, he's off my list for MVP of the day. But Boney.
I like it. Yeah, that was absolutely a frozen rope too. If Vladimir Guerrero's dropping that ball, it was hit pretty hard. I don't have the StatCast on it, but I would say I would venture to say it was 105 or north. That thing was absolutely
Vladdy couldn't see it.
Oh, there we go.
It was 98.5 off the bat. So it was 98.5 off the bat, but I think part of why he dropped it is because Rivas barely got out of the way, and Rivas was right in front of him, so he didn't even see the ball until literally the last second
at all. Yeah, he just happened to have his glove there.
He probably didn't even see the ball.
No, he did. He didn't. Like when it hit him, it hit his glove, and that's when he closed it. But it was already leaving his mitt because he was like, I had no idea that was going to come towards me. So that would have hurt, especially right in the clavicle or something like that. It could have been really bad for him. But I mean, it's strong hit. I mean, just someone in a clutch position barreling up the ball. I know I didn't make anything of it and everybody was fine, but like it's way better than what the alternative which was strikeout, which is what the next 2 did. So
yeah. And then I do have to get to a hot take here. I love my brother, and I'm not playing nepotism here, but he did throw a hot take in there. Rafael Devers there's a lot of stuff going on, and there's been a lot of stuff going on. The Mariners obviously don't have $30 million to spend on the guy for the next couple of years, But just in general, what are your guys' thoughts on Devers
They
moving
do.
out from Boston? Yeah, I know we got 2 new owners. Maybe we got 30 million. I don't know.
You
So
want that attitude?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm-
Do
They
you
do.
think? Do you
Yeah,
think
they'd
if he was
take it.
around
I'd take
Julio?
it.
Do you think if he was around Julio and some of those other guys, the vibes would just be up? He'll figure out. Have you ever
No.
been in a bad environment and go to a good environment? Sometimes you kind of figure it out. I don't know.
What's
He thinks
what's
he
the
is.
crazy
He
thing?
thinks he is the environment. That's the
That's
problem.
fair.
He thinks he is number one, and that's the problem.
Well,
That's
lately
fair.
he's been showing it. Like he's
It's
been
not
coming
golf.
back.
That's
like
fair.
the
If we're paying you,
comment
if
from
we're,
William
if
in
we're
the
paying you
chat.
$30 million and we ask you to play first base, you should probably play first base.
Like, just do it, please.
But
Just
also,
do it.
this in his defense,
Just bench him.
this
Who cares?
conversation about switching positions should have happened sometime. Hey, we
Yes.
might be looking to add somebody in. We might be looking to move you off third base.
Well, this was talked about at the beginning of the season. This
Well,
was a big issue that they were going around and to where the media was pushing it so hard that they just wanted him to cave, and he pushed back, and it was just like quit asking the same. I did a whole video on this, like a whole breakdown. Even had my girlfriend who speaks Spanish like translate, because the translations were not exact. It was very PR friendly in the translations. So like this was a conversation that was brought up with Devers in the beginning of the season. Now that Cassis is out, who sucked anyways, like they need somebody to move over there, and they don't have a single first baseman. They're gonna put Masataka Yoshida over there, maybe if he can catch it, because he can't throw and he's not playing right now at all whatsoever, because you have too many outfielders. Even the guys you want to call up, you have Marcelo Meyer, you have Roman Anthony, you still have Sedana, you have Abreu, you have Duran. These are all guys that can play either middle infield or outfield, but they're not first baseman, and they have nobody else. Where Devers is like, I play third. That's his response, and that's what he was paid for, and so that's what he had the expectation from, because that's actually in his contract. So he's expecting the Red Sox to deliver and to follow through with the contract, even though they want him to move over to first base. But the problem is that if he wants to continue his career, or he wants to opt out, or he gets traded or anything like that, first base has zero value. Look what happened with Pete Alonso. Look what happened with any of the guys. I mean, the fact that Vladdy got 500 mil is crazy, but guess what? Canada tax is 55%. So he's not even seeing that much. That's why it's that high, because they can't convince him to stay. So Devers is probably not going to go anywhere for a better environment. He just wants to play, and lately he's been hitting bombs. I know the first half of the season was like 0 for 42, but he woke up, and they're not going to get rid of him. We're not going to get him, obviously, but maybe we can get somebody else, because there's plenty of guys like on the Orioles that probably should be selling at this point that could work. Mountcastle, maybe. But sorry, I went on a tangent there.
Kyle Manzardo. I'm sorry.
You're good.
What?
DH.
And we had another another comment here I wanted to get to. William, I think it's Cumel. I think hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. You tossed a lot of comments on our last live. I didn't get to them all. Thank you so much for the just reaching out with a bunch of the comments and engaging with our stuff. We really do appreciate it. Wanted to get to one of your questions, though. I didn't have time this week. I was actually crazy busy at work. But one of your questions was, if the M's spent all of their budget for the season, are the M's even going to be active at the trade deadline? The M's had a budget of $15 million to spend. Just where they're at with their budget, what does this look like moving forward? I know certain podcasters out there have talked about maybe the new owners coming in. That's not really going to affect the revenue stream or any of the budget moving forward. But adding 3.5 with Leody Taveras suggests maybe that there's room to add towards the deadline if there needs be. And I know Nosey and I have talked about this in the past. When they like a player, they like a player. Like last year, there was talks about them getting Vladimir Guerrero. And he's not cheap, and that was way out of their budget. And so the talks about that, and Divish confirmed that on his Twitter, and just coming from Divish, it's probably got to be true. But moving forward with the new owners, or with maybe they're not even involved, what are your guys' thoughts on the budget as they move forward, and just what it looks like?
You still have
it's-
Stanton.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's just going to be more money, but that
Yeah.
is not
Yeah,
going to
he's
go
still-
to players.
It's more for him. Yeah.
I don't know what the owners. Obviously Stanton is the majority owner, so I'm assuming he still's the decision maker. I don't know what kind of power they even hold, if they're allowed to like have conversations, or what the structure is. If one of these new owners can even go to Stanton and be like, "Hey, I would like to go get this player," or if it's just, you're writing us a check and we're going to give you an owner's suite. I don't really know what the situation is. So it'd be
Probably
interesting
still
to see.
paying off Chris Larson's ex-wife, because all that was involved in it too. So it's probably just extra money for her at this point.
Well,
I'm sorry to be
probably-
so negative, but the ownership is like the biggest issue. If we focus on the wins
right.
and stuff, like it's awesome. It's awesome what they've been able to pull off. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just, this is a good team if they show up, but it seems like at home they aren't able. The front office is not able to build a team that the Royals can do for Kauffman Stadium. As we saw last year, we thought maybe, oh, they cheating because the record is insane at home and terrible on the road. Well, it was vice versa for the Mariners last year, where they were amazing on the road and they couldn't win anything at home. So,
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
want to
opening
get your take. There was another question from William I want to get to as well. Trading Solano and Tellez to get more budget. Do you even see a trade that Solano? Does anybody even want Solano? Can we offshore that money? Is there any way? Miami? Do you think maybe?
He's there.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Norby's been struggling, but he's a third baseman, so I guess that doesn't match necessarily. But
Maybe he
Yeah,
can play
there's-
first.
and it's like they're so far under the threshold, the minimum threshold. We actually have to bring that up, that there's a minimum. We always talk about the Mets and the Dodgers being above the maximum, but there's a minimum, and they're like well under it.
They don't care.
That Donovan Solano doesn't even push doesn't even do anything.
No.
So yeah, I would err on the side of they don't want him. It's not going to help them out in any way.
they're not going to be able to trade him. Like, they're going to have to DFA him. That's the
You have
only
to
way
DFA
that
him.
Solano's ever getting off of this team, unless he goes on some insane scorcher. But that's not going to happen, especially at
Contra.
37 years old or whatever. So it's just, you're not going to be able to trade him, period. So there's really no point in like litigating it. At the end of the day, like, they're going to have to DFA him.
I don't
he's the guy-
know. I
He's
think
the guy that on MLB The
has
Show,
buyers.
he'll make your trade meter go backwards. Like, the team doesn't want him. There's
I
like
don't-
a handful of guys on MLB The Show that do that. He's one of them.
There's only one team that's stupid enough to do a trade, and that's like the Rockies, maybe.
No,
And, like, that's it.
I don't
God.
agree. I think there's a lot of teams that would be interested in him, because this is
He's a
the
veteran or
narrative.
something.
No, because look at his history. He's 10 years of batting nearly 300 every single season, and the narrative. Thank you, Teoscar, who I'm still a fan of, but screw you for telling him this is the place where batters go to die. And Solano just cemented that even more. Other teams were like, yeah, we'll take him, because as long as we get him out of Seattle, he's going to hit 300. So but they're going to buy low. So that's the kind of thing. And with our pitching going as crazy, I bring up Miami because they're looking to sell Alcantara. They don't want to keep him there because his contract's about to end. And we do have more money, but maybe we'll be desperate enough to where it's like, will you take Solano? They'll be like, yeah, we need a good hitter. We know he can't hit with you guys, and we need to offshore this contract with Alcantara so we can at least get something in return. That could also include a prospect, but hey, at least we get an elite pitcher, because lately Alcantara's been kind of struggling, but maybe in T-Mobile he can actually be really good. It's a wild thought, and most people are going to disagree with me, but Solano is good everywhere else in his entire career, except for here.
100% agree with him. And also the thing about the lack of at bats he's had. Like, you think about hitters, it's baseball. It's not riding a bike, right? Like, you actually have to get some consistent at bats to work through whatever maybe it's timing. And you can do as much hitting in a cage as you want. It's not the same as getting in a box, thousands of people watching you and taking hacks and seeing pitches. And he's not getting that. Like, you can't. And right now, I mean, we're just not in a position where we can say, Solano, we're going to give you 100 straight at bats and let you figure out what you're going to do. That's just not where we're at. And he's not that type of player that you're going to give it to. You give it to the Julios. You know what I mean? Like, because you pay that guy to do that because you know what you have. But, exactly what Chad said. This is a guy that's a 280 plus hitter career. and it's a guy because he knows what he's doing. But we're giving him a bat here and a bat there. Oh, by the way, we're gonna give you a bat in the 8th inning. You've been sitting for the last 2 hours. Okay, get ready and figure out how to hit. It's just
2
it's a whole
days.
different- Yeah, right. So I agree 100%. So
I disagree. Can I ask a question or two in response? Would the Yankees give Donovan Solano this long of a rope? Would the Dodgers give Donovan Solano this long of a rope? I
How
don't
long
believe
is the rope? Like that rope is like 4 feet.
that's fine.
Yeah,
At this
I mean-
point, it's winning baseball that you're trying to sustain. And you can't, I mean, I'm pretty sure go back and you see that there's many a time where the Mariners have signed an offshoot, 1 year, $4 or $5 million, like Brad Wilkerson in right field. I don't think he lasted much past May. Because and he was hitting like 30 points higher or more than Donovan Solano. There's just, I feel like in the past they've gotten rid of players for doing more at this point in the season, and for some reason there's just this significance with Donovan Solano, or he needs to be used correctly. It's like, guys, really, at what point? What are you going to see from him? Like an RBI double, like to win a game, or like a home run? Like, what do you expect to see? Like a 1 for 3 performance the next 3 times out? Is that going to make what he's done any better? I don't see the positive at all.
AJ Pollock, right? Rooftop Sports. Thank you. I had that in my head as well. AJ Pollock from a couple years ago was, you know what? I'm gonna look it up. I'm going to see when he was actually DFA'd and let go, and see if he's outlasted Donovan Solano. But I would say that rope was probably shorter than Donovan Solano's.
What was Pollock's career average and WAR?
Off the top of my head, I don't know, but he was a similar player, right? He was a contact hitter, was a 270s hitter. I don't think he was coming off the same year Donovan Solano was putting together, but yeah, it's kind of similar situation, right? Similar age, a lot of that stuff.
He was coming off. So 2023, he had a -7 or -0.7 WAR. And then the year before that in 2022, he was a 0.4 WAR. So now like barely positive. And then of course, when he finished the year in 2023 after he was let go with the Giants, a -0.3. So it actually got better when he left Seattle, but his RBAT plus was a -128.
And I'm being told by the chat, thank you for being my Google Masters. July 21st is when AJ Pollock was finally let go. So I guess we have until
2 more months.
Yeah, we have 2 more months, right? Like
all right.
Well, either way, if they decide to DFA Solano, they're going to put it out on Twitter before they even tell him, just like they did France. So it doesn't really matter. We'll know before he does.
I want to keep it on the positive side too. Internal options. We actually talked about it on Schulte's podcast last night. A lot to like out of Jared Sundstrom. Granted, he's in AA, but he was a guy that I really liked in spring training, and he's a big body guy that has a chance to hit a lot of bombs as well. He's doing really well in AA. Could make that move to AAA depending on the roster size, all that good stuff. But Jared Sundstrom, man, he looks really good. Have you guys seen anybody else in maybe AAA that might be pushing the needle and giving that? I still like Samad Taylor just because he adds a lot more to the game. He can play infield, he can play outfield, he can steal bags. We've seen him hit home runs. I don't know kind of, what else he can do. He can't do over Solano. But what are your guys' thoughts on the next man up? And that whole vibe that we've been feeling over the last month. Is there anybody else in AAA kind of pushing that needle? Is there anybody else that we need to be paying attention to, or pivoting subjects? Is there any trades potentially that could be another Leody Taveras or another one of those guys that we could be targeting?
I see Canzone come up. He's been hitting bombs recently. I just want to give him one more shot before we send him off to another team. Because we're going to trade him. Like, there's no reason to keep him with too many outfielders. But I mean, AAA, it's obnoxious how good he's been down there, which doesn't say much, but it's like, all right, what else does he have to do to earn a spot? But I don't. It's also Canzone
up to the major league level.
Yeah. Canzone, man.
But you got to give him a chance.
Here's a complete.
Yeah.
Oh, you go. I got, but I got one after you.
Well, I was just gonna say with Canzone, it's just like he hits bombs in Tacoma, but then it's like he'll come up and you'll see him at the plate, and he literally looks like he hates life, and you can just see it in his face,
Pat
and
Shaw.
it's just I just don't see. I feel like he's probably going to be like a purgatory, like quadruple A guy forever. It feels like
Dustin Romero.
you know, and it's just it sucks because I mean, obviously, like he has the pop to that is really nice to have, but man, is he just not good at literally anything else. It feels like yeah, he can cork one, that's awesome, but at the same time, like he'll strike out every other at bat, he won't walk, he plays very mediocre defense, and like he just that's all he can do, and you just kind of have to hope he can run into one, and I just don't I don't see it with Canzone right now. Now I will say, like, I feel like the only person in AAA right now that like is a big maybe right now is Locklear, but the problem is Telez is the left-handed bat. He's going to get most of the at-bats, and Locklear is a guy like you cannot just platoon him for only lefties because obviously he's not going to play a whole lot then and not get a whole lot of ABs. So I don't even think Solano being DFA'd necessarily means Locklear's up. Like something would have to happen to Telez for that to change. And from my understanding, is Locklear is still chasing a lot. He's still striking out a pretty decent amount too. And even though, granted, like if you're hitting lots of home runs, like it's fine to strike out because there's kind of that give and take with that. But you would have to be able to give him consistent at bats, and they just simply cannot do that right now, which is kind of crazy to say about like Rowdy Telez. But frankly, like he's been fine. Like he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been this black hole. They absolutely at the trade deadline should be looking at first base, bullpen, third base maybe as well, because like Williamson's fine too, but at the same time, like, you don't necessarily know if he's going to hit well in the long term. So it'll be interesting to see how he does, when we're getting into July. But I don't see really anyone in AAA too much right now, at least on the hitting side, that you're like, maybe could get a good shot. Like, yeah, like Gavin said, Samad Taylor. I'm personally a Samad Taylor fan, but only because he was one of the better memes of my channel in general when he hit the spring training home run. So at this point, I'm just emotionally tied to him being like a good Mariner. But and to be fair, like he has speed, he has decent defense, he can play multiple positions, including outfield and infield potentially if need be. So he has the tools there. Like he could be helpful. It's just a matter of if he can get on base or get enough hits, which we still don't know for sure. So I think right now with where the roster construction's at and all the injuries we faced, like they're probably about as good as they can get. Now Gavin asked about like trades. I'm going to throw my hands up whenever someone asks about like anything outside the org, because I'm just going to say like I don't know who you could trade for, especially right now. Like it's probably too early regardless, but I think the trade deadline is going to be interesting because a lot can happen in the next couple months. And I could right now I would say like obviously like bullpen, maybe even starting pitching depending on how Miller is and what goes on with Logan in the long term. I'm not too worried about Kirby, to be honest, but so right now it's like bullpen, first base, maybe third base are kind of the big things, and it could be totally different by July as far as like what they need, because you never know what injuries are going to crop up. You never know who is going to fall off a cliff or who could even, maybe not fall off a cliff. Like maybe Telez goes on an insane run and hits 80 bombs, like who knows? So as far as like, to wrap it up in a nice little bow here, like in the org, you're probably really just looking at like Locklear or Taylor, maybe Canzone. But my gosh, if I hate watching his at bats, like that's pretty much where I'm at with Canzone, and that sucks to say, but
have an
that's pretty
idea.
much where I'm at.
I have an idea.
Let it eat.
JD Martinez.
I mean, that was a good idea 6 months ago.
It
and
was
it's
a good
still
idea
kind of
then. It's a
It's a
matter
good
of
idea.
getting him to say yes. The whole reason why he signed with the Mets
Yeah.
last season was because he wanted to show he wasn't washed, and he went to a place where he could hit the ball, and that's the biggest roadblock. But since
It is.
he's a Scott Boras client, the biggest roadblock was like, oh, Scott hates the Mariners. But granted, I mean, is Raleigh still with Boras, or did he fire him and then extend?
No, he
he's with
fired him.
someone else now.
He fired
fired
him.
him.
So there
Yeah,
might
he
be
left.
still some bad blood there to where it won't happen. But if they could make it happen, his market value is estimated of 9.5 mil, which of course is like 9.5 mil more than what the Mariners can handle, supposedly. So if you want to have a good batter that can probably produce and at least give you positive WAR at the end of the season, especially through half a season or 3/4 of a season, he could be your DH, given the fact that Mitch Garver never woke up. This is supposed to be his up year when he does his down, up, like transition and traditional batting. He's kind of irrelevant. We finally let go of Mitch Haniger. I know we're still paying him, but like the DH position is one that we don't talk about enough, I don't think. And we just kind of like, yeah, whatever we got in there. Honestly, designated hitter, like the whole point of it is like you put someone there who doesn't do anything but hit. He is a Rafael Devers of your team, even if he wants to play third, the way he says it. It's JD Martinez is still on the market and he hasn't signed with anybody. And I don't know if anybody's even approached him, but Boras is not doing anything right now. So, you know what? You want to add a lethal bat that doesn't have to play in the infield, and then it gives you more opportunities with the guys already on the roster to fill those slots. It just takes a weight off the team's shoulders, but then you also have someone who's a veteran who's been to the playoffs, who knows the playoffs, who can maybe be a leader like Justin Turner, who we didn't bring back and now is playing a platoon role / pitch hit role for the Cubs, who are dominating. Just spend a little money and get somebody. Fuck the trades. Sorry.
Would
Just-
No,
would
you're
JD
good.
Martinez go up to bat with like a pickleball bat now or something?
Probably.
Now that he's like
I'm
a
okay with that.
Can I
pickleball guy.
let me chime in really quick just to
yeah, Nosey, you've been chomping at the bit. Let it eat.
Yeah.
No, sorry, go ahead.
Well,
Kyle.
he mentioned the first part of it. The Cubs want nothing to do with Justin Turner. One of the biggest fails that the Mariners did this year was not signing him back.
Yeah.
You got to get.
He didn't want it.
Well, that's the problem.
Well, he
You're talking
wanted
about-
to.
He wanted to come back. He loved the area.
No, they shorted him. They gave him kind of an insulting offer, is what
Yeah.
was being said behind the scenes.
But wasn't it like
oh, he
originally
said it
only a
didn't-
couple million less or something?
Yeah, no,
Wasn't
hold
even
on,
that
guys.
crazy.
I think we're getting it backwards. I thought the Mariners literally, just like Carlos Santana, offered him a mill or two more than the Chicago Cubs were offering. However,
No.
what he
No.
said
No.
in the article, no, but he lambasted them and said, if you're only going to come to me and you're expecting me to be the guy that's going to hit everything, why aren't you adding somebody else? Like, so maybe, okay, so I'm wrong about.
No, he
No,
made,
it
he
was
made an
an-
offer.
it was-
to
Or
They-
was it
they
that they didn't
under-
even contact him? Wasn't
They
that the
doubled
thing?
down. It was the
They
insulting
offered.
offer on top
Thank
of
you.
the.
Thank you. Okay.
Why haven't
got
you
it.
done
My bad.
more?
My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna offer me a little bit, but then you're not even gonna try to go after these big names that are out there. Where he was like saying, I understand 100% if you want to offer me 3 or 4 million less than what I made last year, because you want to use that budget so you can go get Soto, Otani, or whoever the big name
thank
could be, or Pete
Yeah.
Alonso. But then and that was the whole article, was about Pete Alonso, where he's just like, you're not even trying. Like, what are you doing? Like, it makes zero sense for you to undercut players that you want to bring back to do nothing with the money and revenue that you made, which 2023 was record profits, mainly because of the All-Star game, and they did nothing with it until the trade deadline. And that meant giving up salary and giving up players. So I'm just saying, like, I understand JD Martinez is 37 years old. He's about to be 38. I don't care about the age. I really don't. Like, there's guys, JT did great last season for us in clutch moments. Was he amazing? No, but he filled a void that we desperately needed to fill. And that's what's frustrating because it's like this guy hasn't been offered anything. Clearly,
Have you looked at JD's
But-
career Mariners now or career numbers?
But-
Safe though?
they're not that great.
They are actually. He hit
I
320 in his career at
I saw
Safeco
220.
at T-Mobile Park. He's got a 370 BABIP and he's got a 320 batting average over his career. He maybe hit 200 last year in his 3 games with the Mets at T-Mobile, but no, 320 career, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs in a 36 game sample over 11 years. He's not a bad hitter at T-Mobile, regardless of being a right-hander. Just had to throw that in there.
I still want
Hey, by the way,
Safeco.
wanted to throw this little fun fact out there. Can anybody name what college he went to? This is where I nerd out because I coach college baseball and I played.
Nova Southeastern, I believe.
There you go. You got it. Didn't expect anybody to get it, but you got it. Yeah, Nova Southeastern. If anybody in the chat knows what state that's in, it's actually in Florida. It's actually a really good powerhouse Division II school. Between them and University of Tampa, they don't get talked about enough. But I just had to throw it out there because I played Division II baseball, and Division II baseball does not get like if you look at the draft every year, there's like 6 guys
Majority.
from Division II baseball.
Oh no,
it's
I saw
actually
a lot more after the 100 mark, but
like actually breaking down the number, there was only a couple. I think it was maybe the 2023 draft that I remember off the top of my head. There was only like 6 Division II players. There was only like 6 Division III players, and then there was a handful of JUCO players. Yeah, what's happening is guys like Seaver King are leaving Wingate and going to Wake Forest and then getting drafted. So that's what's happening because NIL, all the good stuff that's happening with it. But
the portal, because the portal makes no sense. But no,
yeah,
but Chad made a point that was like a guy like Justin Turner who played well with you in T-Mobile, Safeco, whatever you want to call it, and he wanted to be there. On top of that, the guy's got playoff and World Series experience, something our team has very little of. Yeah, Garver's got a little bit. Taveras has a little bit. But I want a guy that actually contributed hard into those World Series attempts. And I know Garver he played, but having that veteran presence. And he was someone that was great in the locker room. Another person that I think we talked about kind of the free agent pickups, I don't think we should be trading because if we're not going to trade our assets in the farm system, we have backlogs in shortstop, second, first, but we don't want to go get anybody with them. And if you're not going to pay the money to bring somebody in, then you need to use your trade assets, which is your farm system. And if you're not going to use that, then what the fuck are we doing at the end of the day?
Mhm.
But another guy that I would like to think about, Anthony Rizzo. Give me another left-handed bat with World Series experience. He's a good guy in the locker room.
didn't he sign?
yeah, he just
Yeah, I
signed.
think
What was it
Picked him
yesterday?
up because of the Cassis
Yeah.
injury.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
So
just
did
signed.
he just sign?
He just signed.
I've been looking. I didn't see it.
No, I
That's
mean,
my bad.
Either
Red Sox?
way, like there's been plenty of opportunities for them to like it's.
Oh
it's-
yeah.
it's friggin' it's May and we didn't.
I just
sign
wasn't
him.
sure if
So,
I
yeah.
saw a meme or something like that.
No,
So I was
you're-
like, I think he's
you're right.
signed, but
You don't know
I
what
He
to
just
do
signed
anymore, right?
yesterday. I'll have to pull it up.
yeah, it's pretty. It was. I saw it like yesterday, I believe, or maybe this morning or something like that. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, ever since he got that concussion, he hasn't been the same. But okay. So
Yeah, I think it was it the Red Sox because of the Tristan Casas.
yeah, because
Yeah.
Rafi's like, nope, I picked.
I can't play first. I don't want to play first.
Maybe
Yeah.
the market hasn't materialized yet, but it does seem like that last season the Mariners were willing to. I mean, we heard, I don't know if Dipoto and Hollander actually offered the top prospects like Harry Ford, like Emerson on the table, but we heard that they were willing to. Now, I don't really believe in trading Cole Young or Cole Emerson this year, but like a Harry Ford, maybe a couple, not all their top prospects, but I'm assuming since they moved 5 or 6 guys for 3 or 4 pieces at the deadline last season, I don't think that there's any indicator that they wouldn't do the same thing if they were in position this year. And after losing the 10-game lead, I think Dipoto would sound like a complete ass if he came out, if the Mariners had like even a 5-game lead in the AL West and said, we're good. No, I think you still have to go get reinforcements because especially in the American League this season, everybody is so close to each other that a lot of teams are going to be seeking reinforcements. So
2024 was a prime example that you can't handle a 10-game lead. You can't.
Yeah,
Because
That's what we-
you blew it on June 20th. How do I know that? To the date. Because that's my fucking birthday. They started blowing it as soon as I hit 30. I'm mad.
We
I am
actually
old.
we did talk. Hey, I'm 34. Don't even worry about it. You'll be all right. We talked about it last night. This season, because of last season, because of blowing that 10-game lead, you just can't get too high and you can't get too low. You have to try your best to stay even keeled. When the like tonight's a great example because they lost and there was plenty of opportunities for them to win. The recipe for success was there. They just didn't capitalize it and get it. It didn't come to fruition. 24-hour rule. Fuck it. Tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new day, and we got 162 of these bad boys, and we're gonna be all right. We're not gonna win the World Series tomorrow.
It is
We're
the
gonna
same
be all right.
shit, different diaper, where they just leave people on base.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about correcting the mistakes. It's about can you bounce back from this? And they have done that, right? Like we've seen game one of every series just not go our way. And then the next two games they battle back and they hit in clutch situations where in years past, I don't even know the strikeout rate with runners in scoring position, but I know it wasn't good. This year it's been amazing. And we just have mitigated the strikeouts in that. We've been at least putting productive outs. We've been moving guys around. We've been stealing bags. We've been doing all the other little things. The old school type of baseball is taking over. And then also the bombs, like the timely hitting. Randy Rosarena doesn't look amazing if you look at his stats, but he has timely hitting and he's been very clutch. So this whole season, there's going to be a dip. At some point this year, there's going to be a dip, and you just got to like grit your teeth, get through it, and then hopefully they start figuring it out, whatever side it ends up being on, whether it's
who's
pitching.
Going to be the guy that says I'm done with this shit and stops the drop?
Right now, you're hoping it's a Cal Raleigh. You're hoping it's JP Crawford, who's made a huge comeback this year. You're hoping it's guys like that have been kind of with the team for a little bit longer, that have earned that captainship, that show that captainship. You're hoping it's guys like that step up and be that leader throughout the entire season, through the negative, through the positive, through the highs, through the lows, because that's what you need. You need a leader that's also going to produce on the field. We all love Mitch Haniger, but when a player, I've been in many locker rooms, when a player's not producing and he's been a leader in the clubhouse, it's hard, even for him, it's hard to take him seriously because even he knows he's not producing to the level he knows he's capable of producing. So JP Crawford, when he wasn't producing over the last, couple times or last couple of years, now he's producing, maybe he can get that back. So you're asking who do we hope steps up? Man, whoever's hitting and whoever kind of has that fuck you in them, because we need that. Like off season, I was hoping they would get Max Scherzer for one thing. Even if he's your number 5 starter and moves to long relief at some point, he's got that fuck you in him. You see it every time he's on the mound. He's got the leadership in him. He's got that fuck you in him. He's just one of those guys you want in your clubhouse because he brings you back and he gets you through the tough times.
So should we hire Papelbon to be a bench coach just to make sure he can choke somebody out if he needs to?
He's a little much. Listen. I'm a big Paps fan, but he's a bit much. I'm looking for somebody who has fuck you, but he also has not going to choke somebody out in the dugout. Looking for something a little more common sense than that.
So not Bryce Harper. Okay, gotcha.
So yeah. Even at least Bryce Harper was the one getting choked out.
We found our range. We got to find the middle.
I sent you. I shared my screen. I don't know how this works being a guest on here, but like, there's your guy.
Yeah. Here's JD Martinez right here.
He's a 945 OPS from 2013 to 2024, 36 games, 156 plate appearances. He's hit in 23 runs, 9 home runs, 25 RBIs, 14 walks, 35 strikeouts. Yeah, it sucks because that batter's eye, but hey, 319. So you were right. Sorry, I was wrong. I thought it was 220. Slugging 558. Meh, but his on-base percentage is pretty solid. And then he's gotten hit by a pitch twice. So, I mean, not enough. It's not like a Ty France level, so he's not going to be scared to bat. But, yeah, he can hit here. I mean, I'm assuming he might check his own savant or stat head and then, maybe consider it since he can hit here. But, I mean, like, we don't – who is our veteran leader in our clubhouse right now? Like, I'm talking, like, veteran. Like, been to the playoffs,
Edgar
Yeah,
Martinez.
that's why I was such
Yeah,
a big
player,
advocate for
player.
on the
getting.
roster.
Yeah, that's why I
Yeah.
wanted Justin Turner back, because he was a proven hitter in Seattle for Seattle. Obviously, he clicked really quick with those guys. It was the obvious choice to bring Justin Turner back. As much as everybody was maybe pounding, I don't know, maybe it was a split table on this one. A lot of people wanted Carlos Santana back. Yeah, it would have been nice, but I think the best one is the one that just hit recently in Seattle and just like clicked with the team. He was doing his own podcast. Go ahead.
You wanted someone that had been here, hit here, and was respected here.
Mhm.
And those were Justin Turner and Carlos Hernandez or Santana. Sorry, wow. But you wanted people that understood the Seattle culture, and we had two people. And we tried to get him or Santana, and he's like, "No, I'm gonna go play with the Guardians because he's comfortable there." Totally get that. Okay, go to Justin Turner. Like, there's value beyond just the salary. It's there's the intangibles that you can't put a value on, and I feel like that's being missed.
Yeah,
And
I think didn't Ryan Davis say that Donovan Solano was supposed to be like the pivot point for like the veteran leadership as well as the hitting, like from Santana and Turner? Like, I'm pretty sure that's what they pitched to Dan Wilson. And I mean, I'm not trying to bag on the guy. Like, obviously he's hitting badly, but I don't know. Do people even listen to you as a veteran if you're hitting $140?
That's what we were talking about. Yeah, it's tough. When we were just talking about like Mitch Haniger, right? Like when he's not doing well, even though he is kind of that veteran in the locker room, it's tough to take him when he's like, "All right, guys, we got to, like buckle down and do this." It's tough to take that seriously. I think
your veteran needs to lead by example. It can't just be a voice. And and
it's got to be
Jake,
both.
we
It's
love
got to
you.
be both.
And done it.
My heart is
done it.
fluttering, Chad. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
That's an inside joke. If anybody's watching, like, what?
I wanted to bring up a little surprise for you guys. I don't know if you guys pay attention too much to the minor leagues, but I got a guy to talk about on the pitching side. Bullpen, obviously, right now it's in kind of a good shape with Troy Taylor being back, and hopefully he can kind of take off. But I got another guy I'm really liking. He's in Double-A right now. Let me go ahead and share this with you guys.
They're gonna say Blast. Damn it.
No, not Blast. Michael Hobbs. So this guy we just acquired in the offseason. I think he was with the Dodgers most recently. He's what, 25 years old. So still young enough to like make a career out of it. But here's what he is. He's only 13 innings, but he is pitching in a lot of high leverage situations. Yeah, he's got 3 saves. And when I see him pitch, it's always 7th, 8th, 9th innings. But here's what we like: 23 strikeouts over those 13 innings, 5 walks. And when I checked him out just a couple of days ago, he had a sub-1 ERA. He was at like 0.57. Now it's at a 1.38, which I don't know. That's kind of fucking good. So this is another guy just to keep on tap. We like him. And obviously he's in Double-A. We've seen a lot of guys jump from Double-A to the bigs, right? Dan Altavilla, Edwin Diaz. A lot of those guys have made, pitchers-wise, have made that jump and done it. But Michael Hobbs wanted to shout him out.
When does Kohar come back?
That's another one. Yeah, he's
going to Tacoma like this week.
Hollander said
he
the
was
month of May he'll be in Tacoma, right?
okay.
Yeah.
I want to see how he does, because that's been a Royals pickup that's been royally disappointing, and I know he has a ton of upside, but I just like, I'm really tired of like the arm injuries of only the best guys, where it seems like everybody else who's meh, it doesn't seem to make. I know we got Matt Brash back, but they're going to take it easy on him because you don't have Santos. Trent Thornton was probably the worst pitcher on the team if you look at stats wise. I don't have anything against him, but hopefully he recovers. Obviously, like, appendicitis sucks. I've never had it. I've seen people with it, so I don't wish that upon anybody. Maybe that is the reason why he's been so terrible on the mound. Like, something's been bothering him for a long time. Yeah. But I want to see Kohar come back. I don't really care about Santos. He's like glass now. He's just glass. He's a glass house. He's just constantly injured all the time. So Car, come back, and Brash, hopefully you can pick it up. And hell, I'll try this Hobbs. I would love if we traded the Red Sox for Dick Fitz, because that's an awesome name. And
Yeah.
he's been pretty decent for them. I think that'd be another arm that we could probably get since Giolito came back for the Red Sox. And they have somebody else coming back soon. I know they got Liam Hendricks, but as far as the pitching side, was it Crawford or was it Whitlock that they're getting back? I mean, maybe he's available.
I think, yeah. Wasn't it?
So-
I believe it was Whitlock, but yeah. And you look at Santos in that trade, and the only thing I'm really upset about in that trade was they did not have to add that draft pick because it was their comp pick, but they added with Prelander Baroa and Zach DeLoach. I was fine with just Zach DeLoach and Prelander Baroa because they were both up and comers, and I was like, okay, cool. But then
Burrow's
they
been
added
good.
in, Burrow's. Well, yeah, he's. I don't know his stats this year, but I know last year. He
Hunter
wasn't.
Dobbins took the spot, so even more reason to get. Dick Fitz, injured,
Fitz.
of course, strained pectoral. Oh, his titty. All right,
Yeah.
but it's only 15-day IL, so I mean he'd probably be able to come back.
Fantastic. Sorry, I couldn't throw that out there.
But Gavin, you talk about your Hobbs guy. I think, I mean, he's a WCC guy at St. Mary's. I saw that when the clip was shared. Again, it's a guy that's pitched from the West Coast. I think it's a different element to play out here. I think that's why you think it's hard to get guys over here because they don't want to play in the cold. They don't want to play this far out. So if you have guys that show success playing on the West Coast, there's guys that you want to bring into your organization, especially for the Mariners. Just a little tidbit there for the Hobbs.
Yeah, St. Mary's. St. Mary's and Gonzaga, the biggest basketball rivalry on the West Coast that I can think of as well. But yeah, it's just Hobbs. I just put him in your back pocket. You might not even see him this year, but I think he's too good to not be talked about. Here's Dick Fitz.
Good for the bullpen for sure. But I mean, if we're gonna argue about who's gonna be our number 5, number 4, especially with injuries, like this is the guy that I'm like, he's kind of available, I think, because they got Whitlock, they got Crawford, they got a bunch of guys that can fill in that starting rotation. And honestly, like a 3.18 ERA. I know he's only been up for 2 years and he's only had like 8 starts, but like last season he threw his 4 starts and he had like a 1 point something ERA. In fact, I'm sharing so I can scroll down and like cover that. But yeah, 1.74 ERA last season with Boston at the MLB level in 4 starts. And then this year he has a 3.18 in 3 starts, of course, titty injury. So if you're talking about someone that you can develop that, again, is a right-hander, it seems like we only want right-handed starting pitching for some weird reason. I would love to see the Mariners go after him, especially if the Red Sox get desperate. And honestly, I listen to a lot of Red Sox podcasts, and they are not happy with the way the season's been going, even though they're like 1 or 2 games above 500. But you know, they're calling for moves, and if the moves mean someone that's going to fill like maybe a Tyler Locklear because they need a first baseman, I don't think Rizzo's a smart idea. I mean, I think they signed him out of desperation because nobody's able to play first base.
He's the only option left.
It's a
Exactly.
name. It's a name that brings people to the stadium. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, well, let's grab a former Yankee to hopefully thrash the Yankees.
He might be Pesky Pole's finest. He might take advantage of Pesky Pole. He does hit a lot of balls down that line. That's his stance is so wide open. That's the only place he puts the ball. So
if he can see it.
And Yankees that go to Red Sox and Red Sox that go to Yankees, sometimes it works. So
yep.
Ultimately, it's where the
Nick's
dick fits. I mean, shoe fits.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey.
Yeah, it's the way the dick fits in the shoe. Yeah.
If the Richard fits.
I'm going to
Dickle
take off
fits.
because I'm going to take off because I know my kids are going to wake me up early. So
Yeah.
appreciate you having me on. It's
Jake,
11
thank you so much.
o'clock now, so I appreciate it.
We love you.
Sorry,
Jake.
thank you.
We love you so hard.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay.
Richard
I didn't need
Fitz
that
hard.
adjective or verb or whatever you want to call it on it, but
Yeah,
still.
just think about Dick Fitz going to bed. You'll have a
Yeah.
Oh,
Little dickle
okay.
fits.
I'll
Just
do
wear
that,
it.
Yep. And shout out Miles Mastroboni for stroking that thing earlier.
Oh,
And
yeah.
even though it was an out. So congratulations.
If
Jerking the
Mastroboni
Kool-Aid.
fits,
Right.
Richard.
All right. I'll see you guys later.
All right, Jake, take it easy.
That's so funny. Oh, what a
Yeah,
name.
but I mean,
Was it the Rays a few years ago that had like all the names? It was like Kiermaier or something else.
Yeah,
They had
like
a bunch of
Sky Bolt or something, or was that an
Sky-
A?
oh yeah, Skybolt was an A. Yeah,
But they
Skybolt
had-
was an A. But
I mean, they still people goes that they still have like Taj Bradley, Shane Baz, Rasmussen, like they're pretty good. Shane has had a rough last couple of starts, but other than that, he's been crazy dominant. And then Blake Snell came out of there, Glasnow came out of there. I don't know.
Well,
Rays are
so here's a fun fact. You know when the Rays had that crazy bullpen of no-namers that were just on fire and they went to the World Series and everything? Blake Snell's last year with them and everything.
Mhm.
There was a thing on Twitter. It was like, hey, here's your Tampa Bay Rays bullpen name. What's your uncle's name in the furthest north place that you've ever been? My fucking uncle's name is Peter. And the most northern place I've ever been is fucking Fairbanks. So Peter Fairbanks was
Nice.
my Rays bullpen name. I had to laugh. But yeah,
Ironic.
and I was like, yep, that's pretty good.
Stand by, I got a refill because you guys are sipping and it's making me jealous.
All good. That's why I got the tall boy. By the way, yeah, for those of you just joining in, I got No Lie Brewery, and this is the Juicy Squatch, and it happened to have a trident on it, so it just kind of fits. So yeah, wanted to highlight a Northwest brewery, and while we have a little bit of time here, wanted to also give another shout out to Schulte. He's got a giveaway. I know we've probably said it like 5 or 6 times. So if you've been on this whole time, sorry, we're saying it again, but he's at, I believe, 86 subscribers.
Yeah, 86 subs. Appreciate you all. Now I got a little Andres Munoz rookie auto from Top Scrum to give away. So it's kind of dark, but you can see it's been in this little sleeve since I pulled it like 3-4 years ago. It's been a while. So sitting on, I've got like this little box of all of these Mariners autos. So I mean, I'll probably end up just giving those away, as hopefully the YouTube channel grows. So
yeah, so just trying to get to 100.
Appreciate you guys.
And yeah, hey, I actually went to your page, so 87. We're moving.
You're welcome.
And we're grooving.
I just put you at 87. So
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Appreciate you guys, man. Hell yeah.
I was really
Appreciate
hoping
Yeah.
you were going to hit like the 99 high. I was going to be like, oh, I'm 100. Boom. There we go.
Move it, Kyle. All right, I owe you more beers. Let's go. No, it's okay. You know what, dude? Seriously, the fact that I've even gained subs tonight is such a positive. So thank you guys. So really,
Yeah, no, honestly, that's what this is about. And everybody in here that's subscribed to us, that's subscribed to Jake, to Chad, to Schultze, thank you guys so much because this is you guys are a big reason why we do this. Obviously, if I had nobody watching me right now, I would still talk my heart out about the Mariners because that's what I love. But I just wanted to let you guys know, thank you for the comments, thank you for being here, thank you for all the questions that give us ammo to talk about in these live sessions. And yeah, we do this every Friday night. Whoever can make it, we talk to as many people in the Mariners space as we can. Just to get people on here and just talking Mariners baseball. Obviously, it's a post game, but it's more than that, right? We're talking about everything from the week. We're talking about everything going forward. We're taking your questions. We're doing all that good stuff, and obviously, Mariner Mojo is one of our biggest influences, and rightfully so. They have a post game show that they do every game. And they've been a huge influence. Jake as well, and Mariner Mojo and all these guys, they've been a huge influence for us. So if you're coming over from Mariner Mojo, if you're coming over from Jake, if you're coming over from Schultze, any of these guys that were coming over, thank you, because we try our best to get along, and I think we do. And this is why we do this stuff, is because we actually do get along. We all love talking Mariners baseball. The crazy cool thing is we all have difference in opinion. Right, there's going to be some certain things that we all agree on, but the cool thing is we all enjoy banter. We all enjoy difference in opinion and everything. So yeah, I mean, I know Chad just made another drink, but any other thoughts from tonight's game? What else are we happy about the Mariners, where they're at? Obviously, maybe we leave ownership out of this one because we're not happy. Yeah.
Well, let me let me get a positive in because I don't feel
Yeah,
like
get
I've
in.
gotten a positive in. Randy Rosarena, I don't think we've talked about him much. He extended his on base streak to 31 games. I think Kyle Schwarber's is something like at 40 or 50. So like he's definitely not close to the lead or the closest active streak right now in baseball, but he is hitting and he is walking. He literally looks like a competent hitter, unlike the 215 guy that we got for the second half of the year when he came from Tampa Bay. So it's just one of those pieces. Like, I don't think the 9-way parlay is going to pay off for Jerry Dipoto. Him coming into the season saying Julio's going to rebound, JP's going to rebound, Luke Raley's going to have a career season again. Well, no, he's not. So one of those is already down. Like, I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh possibly a little bit better, but it does seem like one of those things that's like, well, a rebound season or possibly looking more like a peak season is Randy Arozarena. His batting average much higher. He looks comfortable at the plate. Like when he was just waiting for that walk. That last at bat when he was on base to help load the bases, he was just almost like toying with the pitcher. It's like it was kind of funny when we looked back at the strike zone. Like he is just, I don't know if it's just a few months in Seattle, but so much more comfortable and looks like he can actually do some damage. Like I wasn't confident with him in the batter's box last year. I am so confident with Arozarena in the batter's box this year.
So
I think he wants to be here.
So
I mean,
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
JP Crawford leads the MLB with the 16 game hitting streak. Next one up is Freddie Freeman with 13 games, Zach Neto with 13, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. with 10. So he's significantly higher and continuing after tonight, but he's got 3 more games than the next guy, and that's Freddie freaking Freeman. So that's another positive. We have a guy who's leading the league in something.
Yeah, JP is definitely back,
Positively.
and
After
and,
a 56 OPS plus last season.
yeah, I brought this up with our own guys about JP's just kind of demeanor at the plate. It looked like last year and the year before there was a lot of just he was in his own head, right? Like, and he knows the zone very well. And sometimes the pitch was like right on the corner, sometimes the pitch was outside, or it would be called a strike, and you just saw him lost all confidence at the plate as soon as that happened. I'm seeing that less this year. I'm seeing that a whole lot less. In fact, I'll point out at a specific time against the A's, he had it was that first game of the series where they had the terrible umpire. Like I don't necessarily go for umpires' heads. This guy was pretty fucking bad. But
Awful.
there was a miss. He was terrible. But there was a missed call. You just saw him grit his teeth, and you're like, all right, it is what it is. Next pitch, he barreled it and flew out to center field. But the fact that he just kind of like shuffled it off and said, hey, you know what? Let's go next pitch. It just shows that he is so much more locked in this year. And you see it obviously throughout the entirety of his game. Even his defense, he's doing incredibly well on defense. I think he has, was it one throwing error where he threw it by Rowdy Tellez. I'm not even too like upset about that because he's played phenomenal defense. He's done.
I'm pretty sure that was even
job.
over Solano's head. So 5'8". I'm going to blame Solano more than Crawford. I think that's throwing error.
At this point, I would rather see Mitch Garver over there because at least he's a former catcher. He's got some form of blockability.
6'3". Good Lord.
And he's a little bit taller. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, all right, we got to start taking looks at next up because the whole reason you got Solano was because he was a contact hitter, because he can get on base, because he can do the little things. He's not going to put the ball over the fence. He's not going to play defense. He's not going to steal bags. He's going to just put the bat on the ball. And unfortunately, he's just not doing that. Hopefully there's a team out there willing to take a chance on him. I agree with you guys. I wish it was the Marlins because God knows they need it, but they're just like, you know what? Sue us. That's their whole mentality. They're just like, you know what? MLBPA, sue us. Give us we'll take that chance in 2027 when the next CBA comes out. They don't care. They just don't care. Ever since Jeter left the ownership group, they just don't care. And they fired Kim Ng for kind of no reason. I don't get that situation.
She quit. Actually, they fired her, but it was both Derek Jeter and her.
So I saw it was mutual.
Work with, yeah.
I saw it was mutual, but I don't know. Why would Kim Ng leave that job?
I mean,
I think the shitstorm she saw.
Yeah, Miami is
I
so much
guess, but-
worse than what John Stanton is in Seattle, and
Oh, of
and
course. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Hey. Chill out.
I mean, 87 million comparative to wherever we're at right now with adding on to where we're at.
You know what we messed up on is not hiring Brett Boone to be our offensive coordinator for our NFL Seattle Mariners. That's what we
Yeah.
messed up on.
We need to
Texas
stop calling.
beat us.
We need to stop calling these guys offensive coordinators.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
You know what happened though is that just like Dave Valley is going to go to Texas, and in 3 years he's going to come to us, and magically we're going to have Edgar Martinez, we're going to have Dan Wilson,
Yeah.
we're going to have Brett Boone, we have Ichiro Suzuki, and then we're going to have Mike Cameron come back, and then we're going to probably replace Jerry DiPoto with
I just put Griffey in there.
Gabe Buhner.
There
Gabe
you go.
Buhner seems like, yeah. Give him the
Bone
bib.
Knowles.
For half the job, he wouldn't even.
Tell him the bone sent you.
No, I was curious. Did I don't know if anybody knows this, but did Ken Griffey Jr. buy a stake in ownership with the White Sox?
I thought
No.
he bought it with the Mariners.
Yeah, he's with
a
the
very
Mariners. I don't know if you can be. Can you be an owner of two different?
You
Why
cannot.
not?
I was about to say. So
No.
he's with the Mariners, and I think that was 21, 22.
Okay.
That was and he
who
was
owns Chicago? Because I feel like Chicago's new City Connect is just the Chicago Bulls uniform.
It is.
But
It's Jerry Reinsdorf that owns the White Sox still, the Reinsdorf family.
that's
okay.
right.
Is there a
Yeah.
partial? Yeah, I knew he was still there. I mean, he could die at any moment. But as far as
That
like
family also owns the Bulls, so there you
oh,
go.
they do.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Weird.
that's why I bring that up. No, because there you go. That's the
Fair
connection.
enough. Fair enough. I don't obviously pay attention to the White Sox enough. Besides the
Well-
fact I made one video on them during last
Yeah.
offseason showing like they could turn into a World Series team if they like pulled the trigger, because this last offseason was almost historic with how much payroll they were cutting, and they could bring back all of these guys with all the money they were cutting, like from the free agency, and they did nothing. They just picked the failures of every other team, like Matt Mervis, and Matt Mervis went to the Miami Marlins. It was besides they grabbed Rojas, but Miguel Rojas was traded. They grabbed a couple people, but it's crazy. But my biggest thing from them was look to see how much morale matters, because look at who's going to different teams and how they perform. If they look at Gavin Sheets with San Diego during spring training, it was like, all right, this guy's batting 780 and like has 7 home runs, and he batted
Morale's
like
at
a
an all-time
120.
high.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like it's amazing what happens when you get away from a terrible
Chicago.
organization. Yeah.
I will shout out to Cam Boozer with the White Sox making a name for himself. You know,
Hey, Chafee
Oh, my
baseball,
dwarf.
by the
Oh,
way.
my
dwarf.
I did play with Cam Boozer on Chafee. He went to Fife High School. Actually,
Yep.
excellent human being.
Yes.
Could not be happier for him and his comeback. If you haven't seen, not that it's Mariners related, but it's a really good documentary on Netflix about the Mariners. There's a really cool spot about Cam Boozer, which we'll highlight that. He's from the Northwest. It's relative. But yeah, Boozer from Fife High School, played with him on Chafee, absolute dog on the mound. Went through several different surgeries and man, just surfaced at the top. Also wanted to give a shout out to Kick Dirt Baseball. Thank you so much for commenting and giving us so much ammo for tonight. His last one was about Leo Rivas. We haven't talked about Leo Rivas really all that much tonight. He deserves more than what we've not been giving him. He's been an absolute stud. 161 WRC plus, 4 stolen bases, a 0.6 F4, and a higher walk rate than K rate. I think last time I checked, he was over 500 in his on base percentage. The guy's amazing, and like
It's his 41 at bats. I don't want to take away from it, but it is
No,
like a small sample.
I don't want to
size.
take again, but it's next man up, right?
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of, hey, can we get a player for 2 months that can just plug and play until someone comes back?
Where
And
do
he's
we
been
put
that
him?
guy?
Where do we put him though? Like, should he get a permanent spot? That's my question. Like,
Well, yeah.
They have so much utility.
games at
Who do we
Home games at second base. Dylan Moore gets second base on the away games. There
Well,
you go.
and here's the
where
other
do you
thing.
put
You got-
Dylan at home?
You don't play him.
Well, here's the other thing.
Or he's in right field
got-
giving you guys
okay.
a spell.
We talked about AAA guys that could push the needle. Cole Young is fucking killing it right now.
He is.
And I'm not necessarily saying you need to have him up.
I don't want to burn him yet.
I don't want to burn him yet. And I also the selfish in me would want him on the opening day roster. So just in case he becomes that rookie of the year, you're eligible for that extra draft pick. Not for the financial reasons that I know the ownership would be for, which would be saving his eligibility and not having him be a super 2. I wouldn't want him for that. I would want him to potentially win the rookie of the year and help the organization get a top tier draft pick out of it as well. Because I truly think that he has a chance to be that guy. If there's not if Kobe Mayo isn't doing what Kobe Mayo is supposed to do when he's in the bigs, Cole Young is definitely somebody to be talking about. So I had to give him
get Kobe Mayo for first base.
You're telling me that was the whole thing in the offseason. Luis Castillo straight up for Kobe Mayo, I was actually on board for. But then the grass is always greener, right? Because now we're
Especially
looking at
after today.
I was about to say the grass is always greener because we're looking at our pitching staff, and we're also like we don't have any depth. We're just behind Emerson Hancock, who had to step in, behind Logan Evans,
And
who had to
Jonathan
step
Diaz.
in. Yeah,
That's it.
And Kick Dirt also mentioned Spencer Turnbull, which I know a lot of people have been talking about, including myself. Spencer Turnbull probably would have been the same price had you had waited maybe till spring training, probably about the same price as you paid Donovan Solano, and would have been better for $3.5 million to that $4 million. Because I think Turnbull would have said, okay, you know what? No one's taking a bite on me.
Isn't he still available?
Now he signed. Oh, I did see that. We talked about it on our last live. He signed
I'm really
right before. But yeah, he was a late sign with somebody. But yeah, Spencer Turnbull, I think was a good move.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kobe Mayo. I was all in on Kobe Mayo.
I don't think Jerry's really shown, or Justin's really shown, that they can actually evaluate free agent talent very well. I mean, they've had more misses. They've had hits, right?
It's a one-time you and I have agreed tonight.
I'm glad we agree on something, Chad. Damn.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
The one thing, like, they are dog shit at
Barely.
picking up. I like Donnie Barrows, but at the same
evaluate
time, you should have looked at his StatCast, like, and his stat head for T-Mobile Park, and it's never been good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has never been good here. And don't get me wrong, I could be wrong in this, but this is just from what I've watched. It seems like we only play him at home, and it's like, all right, well, this is okay, whatever, common sense, right? There's like I don't know. You feel like someone who's talking about politics, where you're just like, all right, I feel like there's common sense here, but there's two different sides saying crazy things. This is the same situation where it's like, all right, if he doesn't bat good here, maybe we shouldn't play him here. If Teoscar hates hitting at home, don't play him at home and extend his ass, because look how amazing he is. Like, that's, I don't know, whatever. This is the reason why I'm not the front office, but I would
You're not paying him for the home games. You're paying for his away games and what he does for you there.
Exactly. And I'll be honest with you, I've put in a resume to like work for the front office for anybody here who's like, you think you know what you're doing, go apply.
Oh,
I have.
Dude.
If
you give me the reins, we make the playoffs more than we don't.
No, I would agree.
And if someone from the Mariners want to come in and say like, no, you haven't, I'll show you the application. Like, I have it, but I'm not qualified, clearly, right? Because I don't know what I'm talking about, because I don't have a master's degree in sports science or whatever the hell you're requesting. But you know what? Like, I would love to take a crack at it and try to come up with ideas and work through this, because I enjoy this. And what's the point of work? To enjoy your life. So subscribe to this channel, because Gavin's been working his ass off and he deserves it. Stop being pricks.
Hey, by the way, yes, subscribe to Schulte, subscribe to Chad. Thank you guys for being on here and everything. We love doing this every Friday night. Just bullshitting with the boys, grabbing a beer and just having some fun. That's what we do every Friday night and everything. But yeah, I mean, look at us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who would have thought? Look at us.
Hey,
look at
here's
us.
the thing.
Once it
hits an hour and a half, if you're still here watching, we get a little loose. We're gonna start saying our honest opinions. That's not educational.
The SEC is one away by then, right? Until where things drop.
Hey,
Here,
it's
I'm gonna share
2:30
this
on the
with you
East
guys.
Coast. You know it's been a long day.
Who's on the East Coast here?
I
No,
I lived on the
I always just
not
throw it out there.
Oh,
not
okay.
now, but
I
I
always just
lived
throw
on
it
the
out there
East
for
Coast
fun. Like it's
year.
5 o'clock somewhere, you know.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
just want to
watching
share
Mariners
this.
games in Boston at 2 a.m. was a weird feeling. I will say that. My wife's from Boston, so we lived there for a year, way back when. And yeah,
There you go.
I stayed up watching useless games, man. These yeah. I shouldn't have watched those. Nobody cared. They
So
didn't.
I want everybody looking at this to just cringe and then listen to what I'm saying. This is Kobe Mayo. So in the AL with Baltimore in 2025, he's batting a .083 batting average with a 237 slug. He is worth negative .4 WAR for this year, negative .1.1 WAR for his career. I think we should go get him. And I'm saying like dirt cheap. Get him. Go get.
You talking
go get
about
him,
Luis
Kobe
F.
Mayo.
Castillo? Maybe that was the cash considerations.
That maybe would have been a good move at this point. Although I did make a post, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but I was like, this is the move that we're gonna regret in 7 years from now. Like he's gonna turn into something like Andrew Jones when he went to, or sorry, not Andrew, Adam Jones when he went to the Orioles.
No,
Like
let's not talk about that.
we're gonna
Ugh.
regret it later because we traded him, and it took 4 years before he became a superstar center fielder. He was the Julio Rodriguez of his time.
Yeah.
And
You remember the return?
Watch it.
Do
I
you
don't
remember
even
the
know
return?
who we got.
Eric
No.
Bedard.
Eric Bedard.
Eric Bedard.
fucking
Also,
Bedard.
hey, here in the one.
Well, we're talking about that trade. Oh God.
That guy would have been a Cy Young winner if he would have played today. 5 innings, 10 Ks, Cy Young winner.
Hey,
today.
I got another one for you. This is my only gripe with I mean, Jerry's made some trades.
I agree with you, Kyle. I'm laughing because I agree.
It's bullshit.
Jerry's made some good trades. He's made some bad trades. Here's the one that I'm like, Jerry should have never made this trade. Do you remember Nick Rumbelow? Anybody remember that name?
I remember Nick Rumbelow. Yeah.
Do you remember what we gave up for Nick
No.
Chris Taylor?
JP Sears is who we gave up.
Oh my God, who's killing it right now?
Who's killing it right now, but also like when he was with Seattle, he had like a 1.5 ERA going through high A. They moved him to the pen, just like they're doing with Brandon Garcia. I don't understand that. You don't have any starting pitching depth. You don't have any left-handed pitching depth, especially from starters. And you're moving him to the pen. And granted, he was just as good out of the pen, but trade him to the Yankees for Nick Rumbelow. They turn him right back into a starter because they know his value. Obviously, he does well, gets traded off to the A's, but that's the one trade for Jerry I will never let him down on is JP Sears for Nick Rumbelow. Like, why? There was no call for it.
The Malik Smith deal, I still hate him for. Like, why Malik's fucking?
Or another one is
was the Chris Taylor deal?
Chris Taylor. Do you remember who we got back for that?
Some guy that never actually played.
It was a former first rounder who had high pedigree but was a failed prospect at that point.
It wasn't Trayvon Robinson, was it?
No, it was Chase DeYoung.
It was
Chase DeYoung.
Oh God, I remember that now.
You know why I love being in these these podcasts with you guys is because you're so in depth with one team that you can call out all these trades and all these transactions that happened years ago where I'm just like, I have no fucking clue what you're talking about, but I love it because it's like I finally feel like I'm removed to where it's like I don't know what's going on here because I focus on all MLB. So I love it. I absolutely love this because it's like I don't remember, but I know who you're talking about. I'm like, oh no shit, they traded. The fact that you said JP Sears, I was like, oh shit, Mariner? Like Mariner?
What? Yeah, he was.
Guess I just picked him up in his free agency on my fantasy. This fucking guy. So you know what? I'm super psyched. It's like, all right, cool.
He's a former Mariner.
I think the best part, but you come back to the best home run derby that no one ever saw, which was Alex Rodriguez, Ken Griffey Jr., and a guy named David Ortiz, who was a Mariner.
Who was a Mariner.
We got him for what, 25?
Yeah.
We got him for 25 grand.
Well, hey, at least we're not the Yankees giving up Yordan Alvarez.
And
That was
then they
Dodgers.
traded.
Dodgers gave them up.
Dodgers.
Are those Dodgers?
Dodgers.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
Dodgers. The Dodgers had. Could you
This is my
imagine the
second.
Dodgers?
Fuck off.
Could you imagine the Dodgers for the last 5 years, 6 years, or however long Jordan's been
without
playing?
Chris Taylor. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
So
and then Chris Taylor. Like for
You know
Chase
what?
Young.
Are we?
Wasn't that for
are
the
we-
wasn't that Granke deal? Wasn't it for Granke?
I'm gonna look that
mistake.
up. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna
No,
look up that
well, you
deal.
look it up. I'm just curious. Are we too tired for me to like break this right now?
I'd watch
No.
you open it. I don't give a fuck.
Fucking smash.
It's Friday night, man.
I'll chug this and fucking go. Let's go.
This is
I
just
will
the,
refill
this,
this.
so
Let's
this
go.
is just the mega box. But here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know how this thing is heavy. Like I'm like it's got some weight to it, and I've never had a mega box be this heavy. So I was like, when I got it, I was like, did they send me two
Well, it's 'cause it's the
jumbos on
top
accident?
It's a series 1 pack, brother. That's what you
I
got.
know,
Like 50
I
cards in
know.
each pack.
Yeah, but
There you
it's
have it.
like I wasn't expecting
Josh Fields, the relief pitcher.
it.
From
Ooh, hey, fun
Georgia.
fact.
Georgia.
Fun,
Isn't that good,
fun
though?
fact.
Isn't
He
he
was
Tampa?
okay.
Drafted by the Mariners.
Georgia-
Josh Fields.
Georgia close. He was the Georgia
closer.
closer.
Georgia
Oh,
closer. Fun fact.
rewind,
Drafted
wait.
by the Mariners.
Traded for who?
Jordan Alvarez. That was the trade.
Oh, but Josh Fields was dope for like the couple years that he played.
Yeah. But so
I'm slurring my words, guys. Oh shit.
He was supposed to be. I think he was supposed to,
man.
he was supposed to
He
be
was-
what Ben Joyce is today. That was kind of
Well,
what he was
Well,
supposed to be. Done.
So I remember-
Ben
I remember
Joyce
at the
injured.
time. I remember at the time. So Josh Fields was the draft right after Tim Lincecum, and everybody was giving the Mariners shit that they didn't draft Tim Lincecum, and Josh Fields was kind of that 5'11"
Right.
right-handed pitcher, and so they drafted Josh Fields that next year. I think it was first round. It might have been second round. But yeah, hey, good pop by the way.
Who did they draft instead of Tim Lincecum that year? They fucked up a lot of drafts in the 2000s.
Brandon Morrow.
Yeah.
Speaking
I
of
think it was
Brandon
Brandon Morrow.
Pitchers,
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
it was
tried to-
Brandon Morrow.
He was a starter that they tried to turn into a closer, and then he had a much better career with every fucking buddy else. And then there's Jeff
No, he
Clement.
didn't. No, but when we moved him as a reliever, and he went from throwing 92 to fucking 99. It was a stud for us, and then we lost. Then we.
There you go.
we-
Can I just really quickly, can I say fuck you long ago to the Seattle Mariners fan that maybe when I was 15 told me, well, if Jeff Clement could be a 30 home run, 100 RBI hitter for the Mariners, they'll be a playoff, possibly World Series team.
Is
There's
Ernie
no-
Clement the son of Jeff Clement?
No, he is not. No,
No.
he was like a USC
No relation.
best catcher in
You-
baseball.
he was
USC,
USC.
yeah. He was
Yeah, but-
USC.
I'm
Just got
asking
injured.
for my 23andMe. I'm just trying to understand. It's okay. Relax. I need to stop. I don't drink enough to have two real tall ones. By the way, I drink them like I fill them to the rim and I bring them down so I don't look like I'm fucking crazy. So, all right, let's open. I don't even know if I've opened this box.
Yeah.
By the
All
way,
right.
you can't bring up the David Arias trade without bringing up Jason Varitek and Derek Lowe. That was the Heathcliff Slocum trade, right? It was like just a half season deal for a fucking closer that they didn't even get to the playoffs that year with, and they gave up 2 fucking generational type players.
I still think it's the worst trade, one of the worst trades in baseball history.
I think baseball history, yeah, it has to be. Like,
Whoa,
it's,
whoa,
and not
whoa, whoa,
because
whoa, whoa,
no,
whoa.
not
There's Red
because of-
Sox fans that will watch this and they will tell you, "Go fuck yourself," because Babe
You know
Ruth.
what?
fuck them. They've won a World Series. What the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah, but I don't think they won one after that trade though. Until like
Fair.
2000 and what was it 5 or 6 when they won it?
4. It was 2004.
4.
Okay.
Yeah, and one of the
I know you're horny.
Let's go.
I'm a little jealous. I mean, like I have no packs to rip.
I got-
I mean, hold on. I'm gonna go look
No
at my
packs
closet.
to
I
rip.
got boxes to rip, baby. I might join in
just
on
got-
this.
Dude,
Hold
I
on
got
a second.
I got this.
No,
I
I'll
got
wait.
This bad boy. That's
I will
about
wait.
all I got.
Oh wait,
Yeah.
are we doing slab reveal?
That's
Hold
all
the
I
fuck
got.
on. Hold the fuck on.
We go slap
By the
wars
way,
here.
I just dropped something.
since we actually reached 100 subscribers, this bad boy's going out. I'm gonna throw it out this week. Obviously, we need more engagement on our channel. We're still young. We're still growing our own selves. So more engagement with our stuff, Twitter and everything. Just leave comments, leave likes, do whatever you guys do best, and we will try and find a winner here shortly. Now that we actually have 100, the first person that actually won it never reached out, and I don't know how to get in contact with them. So we're gonna move on, and so it's up for grabs. It's a Julio card, and it is what is it? 286 out of 289 is what we got slabbed here. But yeah, not a bad card. And then once we get to 1,000, by the way, we're far away from that. But just so you guys are aware of what we're doing here, just when we get to 1,000, we got a signed Julio little mini poster here. So yeah, we got some cool stuff coming down the road. And then yeah, William, wanted to get to your comments as well. Thank you again for just peppering us with good stats and everything. Dipoto had a couple trades.
Blaster box.
Hey. Dipoto traded Freddie Peralta, Carlos Herrera, Daniel Masaki for Adam Lind, which if you look back, yeah, all right. Like it's not a bad trade. Because Adam Lind had a couple. I remember Adam Lind having a couple walk-off bombs, which was awesome. And then the Ketel Marte, Taiwan Walker, and Zach Curtis trade, Taiwan Walker and Ketel Marte for Zach Curtis, Mitch Haniger, and Gene Segura. At the time, yeah, I think that was a win. Ketel Marte obviously being the biggest out of all of them, but what we got out of Mitch Haniger, we almost got a 40 bomb season out of him. So yeah, not the worst.
Helped him return to the playoffs too.
Yeah,
it's like my one chance to like show off my prized possessions.
Let's see.
At least Adam Lind was a local product.
I wish we got Mason win.
He said Adam Lind.
I know, but I'm just saying somebody that rhymed because I was like, we need a shortstop.
Hot take.
I would love to see.
Hot take. I'd still rather have Ketel Marte. He's one of the most consistently underrated players in baseball.
That's
bull. Play center field.
MVP last year. He should have.
Like,
if Ohtani didn't exist, he probably would have won it.
He was so undervalued, and it's just like, geez, does anybody see this Arizona Diamondbacks center fielder? Anybody? Like, apparently not. So 35 homers. He's doing
center
great.
Fielder.
Yeah, center fielder.
Yeah. So I have a Bowman first signed Corbin Carroll and a Beckett 10.
Holy yes.
If this is gonna, is it gonna focus? There we go.
There you
go. So there's my one baby. That's my one baby. And then I got a Brent Rooker, Bowman first, auto, 9.
Hell yeah.
There we go.
In a green.
So is that numbered?
The Rooker's a good one.
Yeah, it's numbered to, hold on, to 99. I got a 1964 Ernie Banks PSA 4, but as good as you're going to be able to get.
That's good.
Come on, bro. That's amazing. God.
Yeah. I have a couple others. I have a Mickey Mantle rookie. I have to send out to PSA.
What like the Mickey Mantle rookie or just another like
no, the
1952?
The Mick.
1952, and I also have a 68 also.
So we're gonna if it comes back, chat, we're gonna lose chat because he's gonna have like $1 million plus card and we're out. So
I'll give up on. I will only do YouTube and I will quit my job.
Chad, I think you should just sell that and buy the house. I think you're good, brother.
Oh, I'll be fine. Oh, I don't know if I would want to sell it though, because I'm way too much of a fan. So that's what makes it kind of like,
I understand.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mickey Mantle, so I got my PSA 8.
Oh,
used bat Mickey Mantle from the 1952 World Series against the Dodgers.
Maybe I can find one of my Mickeys before I even show these, because these are my PSA graded. The other ones I'm waiting to grade, and I have a fucking stack over here. Okay, let me do this. Rapid fire.
Do you remember MLB Showdown? Do you remember that game, the card game?
Yeah.
The steroid one, kind of like NFL Blitz. Yeah.
It was like, so my grandma thought she was buying me MLB Showdown. She bought me a box of Upper Deck, and that's where this bad boy came out of.
That's dope.
That's not bad.
What a beautiful mistake.
Great.
This is a Topps first round draft pick rookie card of Frank Thomas, signed 1990.
Damn.
And it is a Beckett authenticated. It's not numbered though. I didn't pay for the extra. I'm glad I didn't really do that because I would have overpaid because Beckett's under the lawsuit.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Topps Heritage, but this is one Soto signed in playing for the Hagerstown Suns. This is before he even played in the MLB. So signed
Hagerstown Suns, yeah.
And authenticated and everything like there.
So speaking minors, we've got Ty Pete Auto 99 PSA 10.
There's a good one. That's a good
Hey,
one.
Kyle, hit me up, either one of you guys. Schultz, if you want, like, I'm well down to trade or buy. Like, I am in the market 100%.
For sure. No, I don't know what I got still.
Oh yeah, Chad.
I've got a lot of ungraded stuff.
Chad, you're on the peninsula, right?
Yeah. I'm up in like Port Angeles area.
Port Angeles,
Yeah.
Fishing territory.
Yeah, Kyle's over in Peninsula High School area. Or is it, if you guys, Gig Harbor, yeah?
Gig Harbor area, yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
All right, after this, hit me up. Let's talk. Let's talk after this.
But we are at the 2-hour mark, guys. We absolutely crushed it tonight. I crushed both of my beers.
You can't cut me off. Do a Vaughn Grissom.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Red to 5 auto. Vaughn Grissom. I'm telling you, he's killing in AAA. That's a guy we should pick up. I know we have plenty of infielders, but if Vaughn Grissom's going to continue to be in the AAA for the Red Sox and he's batting like 400 right now down there, bring him up here, move Crawford over to second. That's an insane middle infield. Okay, real quick. Bowman first, Julio, obviously, PSA 9. Nothing too crazy there. It's a mojo fractor.
I went to Kyle Smith instead of Julio, and I hate myself. I bought like 5 Kyle Smith rookie autos.
Bowman first, 10, Julio.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay, can you one up a 1989 Bowman first rookie of John Smoltz?
Ooh.
Hold on. Wait for it. Ichiro, rookie in Japan.
Does that? Which one's better? Good. You guys decide.
Man,
Smoltz or Ichiro rookie?
Oh man, Ichiro Oryx Blue Wave rookie.
That's a hard card to find.
That's or Tom.
I guess just because it's so
old as a kid.
Oh, don't bring football in here. Get the fuck out of here.
Don't bring football in
here. Like then we'll never end.
Okay. I have one more left of my special collection. I haven't even ripped open my packs here, but this is my Cheris. It's only a PSA 8, but I want you to find your best right now and show it to me, Kyle. I want you to try and beat this.
God. I don't want to get my ass kicked here, but you know.
We got a hell of a Friday night matchup going on here. I like it.
Great.
This is the 2-hour finale.
This is the 2-hour. This is the Duke It Out. This is the Friday night special. This is what you came to Friday Night Lights to watch.
By the way, Gavin, I have a trade for you in our fantasy, and you better fucking accept it because I gave you Soderstrom for Mal. I can't even say his name. Tyler
Molly. Listen, man. I'm 5-1. You got to be taking you're making the trades I should be taking right now. Like those.
I did. I made that offer, and it's like, all right, we have an understanding. Like I hooked you up. Now, if there's something in the future that's reasonable, hook me up.
I'll work
because that was reasonable. I needed pitching. Couldn't play him. There you go, Kyle. Go ahead.
That's fair. I want you to be ready. It's triple threads. It's a Wander Franco to 10.
Ooh.
Wander Franco.
Oh wow! I feel my asshole being sodomized right now. That's sexual.
No, I would say it's probably my Kyle Manzaro collection of Bowman first. I don't know where to start.
Okay. This is my baby. It's like I said, it's a PSA 8. So like there's probably plenty of Pop Gen out there, but it is my score 1993.
Okay.
Derek Jeter rookie.
There you go.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Well, but if you
I think
Mickey
that one up's a
Mantle,
wonder for Franco. I don't think he's raped anybody, but like I'll get my hopes up because then it raises its value compared to what you just showed me. I have a Wander Franco auto somewhere. I have a collection of Wonder Franco stuff before it happened, so I'm thinking about going on eBay and putting the sexual assault collection and just seeing if they accept it, and I'll put it up for like $100 or something like that, because I have like multiple autographs, PSA 10s, like all this stuff. I have a signed jersey. I'm like, oh, what do I do here? Like
Hey, does
someone's
that
got to be
include-
into it.
Does that include redacted? Do you have like a Sean Oakman one?
Oh no, I don't, but I should.
Because that was
we should make
that's a missed opportunity right there, man. I feel bad for that guy.
Gavin, I think you should change the name of this podcast to Northwest Redacted. And
Northwest
it
redacted.
would just be craziness of just like people listening to people saying crazy shit. That would be so awesome.
You know,
Probably
it might
you got
actually
a
hit.
lot of PSAs. I'm just
It
gonna
might
say.
actually hit. It
Well,
might actually.
Well,
hit.
what sucks
You
is I
should.
pulled
I'm
I got
for
a
it.
Julio auto right here at a Panini.
Oh, it's
And
Panini, okay.
but what sucked is when they gave it to me, they put it like, because there's different points of like the size mags they put it in. They
Okay.
put it in like a 360 mag, so the car was curved. So it ended up grading to a 7. It was a perfect card, but it had a
Bullshit.
curve. They graded it.
Do you have the
Perfect card.
center? Do you have the center thing on to measure the
No.
centering and everything? Oh, okay.
Oh,
You
it's
should
perfect.
get that.
No, it had nothing to do with that. It just had this big ass curve because it sat in the one touch.
This is
I've
my
got the-
first 2025 pack I'm opening. FYI, I know it's not focusing or anything like that, but let's just see. I'm just gonna see. I know you can end the stream whenever you want, or we can just bullshit and drink. I'm cool with it. I got a refill already. I downed 2, so
All right, boys. I'm gonna end this stream, and I gotta
No,
get
go
out of here.
ahead.
You guys stay in here as
Yeah.
long as you want.
No, it's
I don't
fine.
know if you leave, it might end it. This is